There you go, there's the fucking pig.
Done. Oh lordy, here we go. Alrighty, it's up. Okay. Let's do this. So I need to mute myself here. I'll ping the other one too. Oh shit! What the hell? Did you see what I just did?
Yeah, that's
Why
the
did
wrong
it do
thing.
that?
Oh shit, that's your description.
Yeah, I just gotta change it. There you go. I don't know why I did that.
That
The title.
description's wild, by the way.
Just...
Let's see.
The title, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We gotta just make sure this is gonna work. Okay, so wait, audio's good. I'm assuming you guys can hear the Discord. Wait, can you guys hear this? Wait, say something.
Hello.
Yo.
No, it's
Hello?
working. Can we just make sure? Can you guys hear Discord and everything too? For this, you have to get out of bed. Comedy stream, apparently. We're gonna have fun with this. This is gonna be a fun one, guys.
These tier lists are an infinite content glitch.
turns out we unlocked unlimited content. So, oh my gosh, everyone's pouring in. All right. Anyways, okay, so let's kick it off. Now, for anyone, and you know, if you're watching the YouTube video, assuming I get the courage to upload this on YouTube, the story is I made a tier list. What was it? I think it was yesterday. And then like within like 5 hours, like they'd cooked up their own list. I guess to like kind of troll the fact that we made our list or something like that. So we've decided to react to this one. Yeah, not going to react to the video. Just the list itself. We've set up a whiteboard so the guys can pen, draw it, and stuff. And let's try to pull this thing apart and see where we disagree. Some of these are like crazy. And let's just try to understand this first off. So, like, how does this red, orange, yellow, green stuff work? So, it's red if it requires an expert player. Is that right? And then
Yeah.
orange being kind of good, yellow, rookie, green, beginner. And then T means it's a threat.
Yeah, so
But
that would
where
be
do
like
the T's?
7. That's the 7 on the Fury right here.
Oh, it's a number. Okay,
Then-
how much of a threat it is, how much
Yeah,
control of
control.
a fight, and then how much survivability it's got. Which can just be translated to like how bad is the hit reg against that shit. So fair enough. Okay. All right. I guess in tradition, do we want to work back to front or top to
I think
bottom?
we want to start. We should start from the bottom probably, because I mean,
Well,
it
that's
gets
probably
funnier and funnier as you go to the top.
You kind of want to mention that
Okay.
it's more a group fight, right? Not like 1v1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is specifically an unrealistic 3v3 in arena commander probably. So
So small
Specifically, like-
skirmishes. Yeah, small skirmishes. And then team fighting. And I'm guessing by gang they mean small gang. So I guess we're just looking at anywhere between like 3v3s, 5v5s to 10v10s, stuff like that. Why is the Intrepid on this list and why the Terrapin isn't? True.
I mean, the real question is why is it in C tier? But we'll get to that.
Look,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, I guess we start from the bottom, yeah, and let's just so I can introduce people, right? Thumb is a new player to the org. Streams himself on I don't know, thumb in your bum on Twitch. Calling it that. So he streams on Twitch. Make sure you catch him. I think he's getting back into it. A really good pilot right now. A really good double joystick pilot, which there is few of, and people like to think it's only mouse meta. I think Tom could prove that very much wrong. Second is Fresh, who just came second in the EU side of the tournament. So for the Atmo Esports tournament, so second runner-up for EU. And then same with St. Nick's, who actually just beat Avenger in that tournament as well in a 1v2, right? Like after they'd killed Sin, you'd beat them 1v2. My point being, these are some of the best players in the game as far as dogfighting goes right now, if not the best. And yeah, like their opinion to definitely be respected for sure. A lot better than I am, for record. So, anyways, let's just start from the bottom of the list and we'll make our way up. So we've got the Zeus at F. I'm not even going to comment on this one because
it deserves F tier. I mean, these both deserve F tier. They're trash.
Yeah. So you're talking about the Sayul. Maybe we should cover this tier. No, we'll do ship by ship. Does anyone disagree with the Zeus? Okay, it needs green, so it's a beginner ship. Extremely sluggish. That makes sense. A threat, it's a 4 out of 10. I don't know how.
Yeah,
like what?
It's purely the guns. I think it has like 4 size 3s or something.
I think it's a 0 across the board. I think it's just terrible.
Like I don't know what you'd be. How you like it? This thing's just gonna fight like a Connie. I've never even seen this used effectively once, and I don't think there's like a secret recipe with this thing. It just doesn't work.
There's not even a Connie in the tier list. Just kind of crazy. Put a Zeus, but not a Con.
Yeah, why is the Zeus in it and not the Connie? For a tier list, it's worse than the freaking Herald. Can we just skip the Zeus? Like it seems a bit pointless to be in there.
To be honest, I feel like we could skip these 3.
They're all terrible. I mean,
like,
I would think three
3
Zeuses would definitely beat 3 Cutters. I don't know why the Cutter's above the Zeus, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're all trash.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so but the thing is too, it's like it's important people know we're not like trying to just dog on the like your favorite ships. This is about competitive PvP. This is about PvPers, PvP organizations going up against each other in these ships. And a lot of these ships wouldn't see the daylight and haven't seen daylight in this. So keep that in mind. Like we're using this as orgs going up against orgs, gangs going up against gangs competitively. Yeah. So when we say your ship, is worth skipping over, it's just because it's not in the debate. Yeah, so let's skip over the Zeus because it's just like no point. The Sayulan, I think Floor Matt flew the hell out of this thing and he thought it was really disappointing. We can just skip that too, right? It's a starter ship too, so by design, it's actually not supposed to perform and be replaced early. That's why I didn't include starter or beginner ships in my tier list, because by design they're there to get you into the game and be replaced. The entire point is it's a stepping stone ship, so I just didn't see the point in putting it in the list. But there you go. Apparently you need to be trained pilot to fly the Sayulan well. Are we all good with skipping that?
Yeah.
Okay. The cutter, what about should we be commenting on the cutter? Probably not, right?
No, it's not a combat ship at all. I don't even know why it's on.
I don't get the threat level at all. Like 4, wow, like doesn't it only have 2 guns, like size 2s or something?
The thing is, these ships,
small.
These ships are awful. Like this isn't even. There's nothing to discuss. They're just terrible.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
I think you only put.
Okay, what's up? Okay, so we'll skip over the cutter. Okay, the Vanguards then. Now we can start getting real about this list. What do you guys think about the Vanguard?
It's pretty bad because of the guns, right? I think Fresh knows more about the the size 2 guns. There's something wrong with them. They don't match the velocity of the size 5 or something.
Yeah, the guns in total don't match with velocity, and also they're underwhelming in damage. They would need a little damage buff. But it's also that it has too little shield and too little HP for the sluggishness, right? If it had a little bit more HP, I think I would rate it a lot higher, but
You're just better off with any other heavy fighter, pretty much. It's just not that good.
Yep.
I'd say E-tier, honestly. I think E-tier is fair for this thing.
Yeah, so this we agree with this one then, don't we?
Yeah,
it definitely requires a beginner. The threat level 6 out of 10. No, like it's more like because the size 2s on it aren't gimbaled, so it doesn't even have the working convergence. They're fixed, right? So
yes,
you'll never apply any damage with this thing.
So like the threat level is more like a 2, and it's probably based more so off the missiles, right? Like and just for anyone watching who doesn't understand, the weapon system in master modes requires the guns to be on gimbals. If it's not on gimbals, it doesn't. The aim assist literally doesn't work. So because the size 2s are fixed on the nose of the Vanguards, they actually don't get the aim assist benefit that every other ship gets. It's a similar problem with the Glaive and the Scythe. So it's literally broken. So I don't agree with the threat. I'd put it like a 2. Yeah? Like, what do you guys think? What would you guys put it for a threat? 2. Okay.
I mean, it's got the missiles, so I guess you could go 4 maybe, just because, I mean, if you spam, 32 task forces or whatever it is, 36, that's pretty good, but the guns are shit.
What about giving it a 4 rating for control? What do you you have no control in this thing. You're just there to get beat up on.
Slow.
Yeah, you have no control over the fight. I don't even think these.
If you brought 5 of these to a 5v5 or a 3v3, for example, you've got no control at all, actually. Do you?
I mean, it's E-tier, so it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. There's no point in us, I guess, really. Yeah, it's just control's terrible. Survivability's purely just because of the hull. So we can skip that. Anyone want to add anything to that?
I'm going to assume that the threat, control, and survivability for these ships is relative to the tier, because otherwise there's no way you could have 9 threat on an ion, right? Because you can't do anything with it. So I'm just going to assume it's relative to E tier.
Yep.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt on that, because these are all 0, 0 threat, 0 control, 0 survivability. They're all terrible.
Yeah, especially in a team environment, right? You when we would face these, we would just ignore them and kill them last.
Yeah, you kill exactly. That's the big one. It's they're not a threat offensively. Kill them last, punish the actual threats, and then just leave them as sitting ducks. Yeah, you're right. So Vanguard, no surprise, we do agree it belongs in E, don't we? So
agreed.
Yep.
Same with the Ion, same with the Eclipse. I would say same with all of these ships, honestly. I think I agree on this.
Yeah. So the Aries being a 9 for threat, beginner I agree with, but a 9 for threat against what?
I mean, I don't even think 9, giving him the benefit of the doubt, if you get hit with that full charge, it definitely hurts.
But what's the odds of it getting it?
Yeah. But again, if you're completely ignoring it and it's able to third party you, I don't think it's a 9 at all, but I definitely think it's higher than any of the Vanguard series, only because of the if factor if you get hit.
Yeah. So what would you put it on if you gave it a number for it being a threat? But the thing is, you have to think of it like a threat, but you also have to compare bringing that ship. We're assuming we let it play the way it is. The problem is it's a giant pancake that's going to get blitzed by a single guy and never do anything. It also does have a lot of
missiles.
Yeah, the missiles on it are pretty good. If I were to say,
okay, so
again, I'm going to assume that the threat level is more of relative to the tier, because otherwise it simply doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I
would agree with that.
You're giving a cutter 4.
You think it is? Do you think
it's gotta be?
It's relative to the tier?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna assume that.
Okay, that would make more sense to me because a 9 is wild.
Yeah,
Threat
all
might
these
be
are
firepower.
0.
Okay.
If they're compared to everything, they're just all a 0.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Okay, so the Ion being scarier than the Guardian. Okay, and then so on. So the Guardian. So the Ion or Inferno, either way you look at it, we definitely believe belongs in E, and we definitely think it's a beginner ship, right? Because there's not much to it, is there? Like you can't limit test with this thing. You discovered a limit of it pretty quickly. So yeah,
Yep.
we agree with the Aries being there. What about Eclipses? So there's like you can dumbfire torpedoes at Polarises, and that's about it. And you can only do that against groups that aren't capable. You guys agree with that? Like I don't think in a serious Polaris fight with any organization that's got any PvP experience, you're dumbfiring this thing reliably.
Especially, and this is a 3v3 tier list, the way that he's setting it up. So this thing is just completely trash.
Yeah. In gangs and stuff, you're not going to land a single. If you're, dude, that's a good point, right? Is in a gang, 3v3s or team fights, unless there's something like a Polaris, this thing shouldn't even be on the list according to the list, right? Because how are you going to bring that to any other fight?
If there is a Polaris, it's not viable because you need so many of those Eclipse torps to even do.
And there's no Polaris
sustained damage.
Yeah, and there's no Polaris on the list.
So
you have to
I get why the Eclipse is on the list. Like the Eclipse itself is basically flying like a Saber, but it's way tankier and has 2 size 3 guns. Like killing it takes a while. So if you're in a 3v3, I mean, if you're just in that tier list, like in the E ranking, I can see why it's okay. Like when you're 3 Eclipses versus, I don't know, 3 Pisces.
Well, 3 Eclipses versus 3 Vanguards? Like, does it then rank higher? No, it doesn't because it's got a... Okay, it's not in order left. No, it is in order left to right.
Is
it?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because the most left one has the green tick, which is best in class, best in the...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
I mean, I think all of these are just terrible. Like they're all like not even.
We can start getting through this quicker. The Crusader Aries 1. Sorry, not Crusader. The Crusader Spirit A1. Wait, C1, isn't it?
No, this is the A1.
The A1. Sorry, I got shit brain right now. Yeah. So the precise bomber. What do we think of that?
The A1 is a good bomber, but I think in this specific tier list, which is supposed to be 3v3 dogfighting or whatever, I mean, we're only using the guns and the turret, right? So it's probably a piece of shit for that.
Yeah.
Because you're not using it for its intended purpose. So it's just bad E tier.
Okay.
Same for the Pisces. I'd say Pisces.
Yeah, Pisces we can just skip over. It's like obviously
that's on here, dude. Get that out of here.
Yeah. The Guardian. Okay, well here's a controversial one. Talk about the Guardian. How do we feel? How do we feel about? Where do you think it should go? Okay, Nix, I guess first. Where would you place the Guardian?
Well, bare minimum C. Bare minimum. Probably even closer to B. I think it's worse than the F8, but it's still got 2 size 5s. It's got pretty decent maneuverability, and it's got some size 3 missiles, I think, and then it's also got a quantum dampener. Mm-hmm. So it's got a lot of utility. Even in a 3v3, if you have a quantum dampener, you can use that to prevent people from navving and stuff. So I don't think it belongs in E. I would probably put it C tier, maybe low B.
I'm more confused why the Glaive and the Guardian are so far apart. They fly and they are pretty similar on there. Like the repeater don't work on the Glaive, so basically 2 size 5s.
Yeah, and then the 2 5s aren't gimbaled, so they don't have the convergence or the aim assist.
Exactly.
So yeah, like the Glaive, it should definitely be higher than the Glaive, or close to. But yeah, okay, fair enough. So we disagree with it being at E. Again, like it should be higher is the opinion of all of us, and we're all thinking around the BC area. Is that right? I'd say like like close to there. Like I think I put it in C on my list. I'm not sure, but it's hard to tell because I'm comparing it against this list. So, but I agree. Like it should go up probably another 2 slots.
I watched Sin win a fucking 1v4 with it in the PU the other day, which you couldn't do with any of these other ships in E-tier.
Yeah, fair enough.
Against F8s, against, you know, and it's a solid ship for if you just want to fly around the PU, do combat. Is it competitive? No, but it's fine. Like you can do a lot with it. You could take it into
it's capable, it's not competitive, right? Is a good way to put it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good ship.
So yeah, we would move that up a slot. Yeah, I agree. All right, up to D. So the Tana, the Reliant. How do we feel about that?
Putting that above a Guardian is like it's crazy to me.
Crazy?
Yeah, like because you're gonna tell me that in a 3v3 that the Tana is and the Aurora MR are better than Guardian. I don't know.
Yep.
I would put the Tana probably. I mean, bottom of D or E. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you guys? I have no investment in this. Like, you're not losing to this thing like in like 20 other ships. You're gonna outturn it. Well, like the guns got outscaled with them. Go ahead.
We fought a Tana in the Atmo Esports one.
Oh yeah, okay.
It didn't even get a shot off. Like
really? It didn't even get a shot off? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's sad. But yeah, like the Tana is just like one of the long forgotten ships. So again, we think putting it ahead of the Guardian's pretty insane. Like absolutely insane, but it's just nothing special, right? Like it's not even good. We would say it's just a bad ship, which is probably fair enough given that it's in the D tier, which you could probably assume he's thinking it's bad too, right? So it's bad.
I think my problem with the Tana is more where the other ships are placed rather than where it's placed, because it's placed in the same tier as Santokyai and above the Guardian. So I don't think the ship itself is like not accurately placed. I think D tier is fine for the Tana, but it's in a tier with a lot of ships that are just that would destroy it. So I don't understand that.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
Tana D tier, it's fine.
Okay. Aurora. So obviously we're just talking about like hit reg and the fact it's microscopic, right? So there's things like, you know, similar to a snub is the reason he puts it at D. What do you guys think?
F tier. Worst. F. This is one of the worst ships in the game. Like
yeah,
this.
I think
this
is the one ship that does belong down here.
Yeah,
it's terrible. I tried flying the Aurora. It has first of all it gets
leave
outrated
that line.
by
Leave it there. Yeah, leave the line drawn that way.
It gets outrated by a Mantis. The Aurora gets outrated by a Mantis. It's slow as hell. It has only size 1 guns, which are terrible now. Absolutely awful. You can't do anything with size 1.
Yep.
It's pathetic. I mean, it's one of the worst ships in the game, which I think is a shame because it is the starter fighter ship, right? Kind of like the Mustang. It's awful. It's slow as hell. It can't turn. It can't shoot. Like it's horrific.
It's a stepping stone ship. Yeah. It's like meant to be replaced.
If you put the Aurora into a 3v3 with like any other ship on this list, there's a good chance it wouldn't even win, even against like the Cutter. It's that bad.
Yep. No, fair enough. Bad. Okay, so it goes to F. We all agree it goes to F. I'm gonna stay neutral on this one because I've not bothered to fly one of these in MM. Next up, we've got the Mustang. I know Mavsex is a huge fan of the Mustang. Where do you guys rate the Mustang in regards to this list? Do you think it goes D? Again, stepping stone ship, but what do you guys think?
I think it goes top of E, and I think that this beginner thing turns into a 1.
Expert?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
you can't be a beginner with it
if you're an expert. Yeah.
And
I think it goes.
Which means you're like rate fighting. You're trying to get behind people. Yeah. Like you're trying to evade fire and stuff like that. Like you have to push this thing to severe limits to get it to be capable. And even then, it's not that capable. So you guys would move it to E?
Yeah, I would say even top of E.
Even D is probably fine. I feel like I could beat a Tana pretty easily with a Mustang.
That's true.
The Mustang moves well. it's a very, very nimble, maneuverable ship. It just doesn't have a lot of firepower
Hey,
and it has
Sarah.
convergence issues. But it is in terms of the flight characteristics of the Mustang, it's actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually feels really nice to fly.
What about you, Fresh? What do you think? Stays in D? What do you move it down? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I fought with the Mustang a bit, and it almost feels like an arrow. So I
You
would
think
move
it's
it up
good?
in D.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
actually.
Okay. Well, let's just leave it there because we got, Tom wants it down. You want it up. Saint wants it still. I've got no say in this one because it's a stepping stone ship, so I haven't invested any time in it. We leave it there. Next up, the Santokyai. So I'm a big fan of this thing in atmosphere, and that's about it. Yeah. It got played at that last streamer tournament, but that's purely because you weren't able to bring more than one of the same ship. So it was kind of picked as the third in that tournament, but they had banned like a bunch of snubs, some broken ships and stuff like that. The Hornets were all banned, so that's why it got its time in the sun. What do you guys think about it being at D tier?
I think it belongs in C. I flew the Sandtalk actually quite a lot. A few patches ago when it had a capacitor advantage over other ships.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun because it was a heavy fighter capacitor with and this was when capacitors really mattered.
Yeah.
Heavy fighter capacitor with medium fighter characteristics, and I was able to beat Hornets with it in 1v1s pretty comfortably.
Just don't
and
blow the wings
good,
off.
Yeah, and good players too. Like it's the Sandtalk was competitive with the capacitors the way they are now, where everything kind of has infinite ammo. I think it goes down into C, but it's still.
You mean up to C? Up to C. Yeah.
No. I think before, like in the previous patch. I think it
before. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Well, where would you put it now? Do you think it's D or C or what? C?
I think it's C now.
Yeah, I agree.
I would swap it with the Intrepid.
I think it's quite slept on, and it flies well on Atmo.
Yeah.
It flies well on Atmo.
Swap it, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
just to this.
If you gave me a
Yeah.
Sandtalk for a week to go play squad battle with, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine ship, and it's fun to fly. So.
Yeah, I think I rated it pretty decent on mine. Like it's not crazy, but it's definitely capable. And it does pretty decent Atmo too, which is like, a nice thing about it for sure. In confined spaces, it fights better. So, rather than in space where people are going to play range really heavily and stuff like that. So, yeah, okay. Well, then we move that. Yeah, we move that up to C. So maybe we draw an arrow that goes to the side of the right and up to C. Next up, the Cutlass Blue. I don't have a dog in this fight. What do you guys think? We gotta hurry up though. This list, like these ones, are kind of like whatever. But what do you think? It starts getting hilarious. This list starts getting hilarious at C, and so we need to rush. We need to rush to C.
Yeah, we want to spend a lot of time on the S, B, and A tiers, especially because that's where it's fucking funny. I mean, this shit I could really take it or leave it, but except for the Guardian.
Okay, so the blue, do we care about it being D? Like, I'm fine with it being in D. It's whatever to me. I think it probably should fall lower, maybe. But
QED.
Yeah, the QED is really good.
It's good in D. It's got a lot of utility. It's got a lot of utility, but there are just other ships that do it better than the Cutlass Blue now, like the Firebird, like the Mantis, or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's fine in D. I agree with this.
Okay. Next up, we got the Gladiator, which is What I don't understand that one. Like it's
fine. Like it got buffed.
Oh,
like, it's actually fine in there. Yeah, it got buffed. It flies a bit better and it's way more tanky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been tanky as hell for so long, but
but the guns got buffed.
Yeah,
it got size increased,
and it's got those like mini torps on it, right? Doesn't it? It's got
size 5s. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with it here.
Okay, right. D. So be it. Next up, we've got the Hurricane. Now, I think we disagree with this one, don't we?
I think so. What's the deal with the capacitors right now, though?
I know Among Us and Matt are in love with that thing. Like, I know Matt and Among Us really rate the Hurricane, is my understanding.
This patch specifically, though, I believe that there's some issue with the turret gunner and the pilot sharing capacitor, something like that.
Oh,
so you
really?
don't actually have a lot of firepower on the turret. Yeah. And so it might be bad right now, but I'm not 100% on this thing because I haven't flown it this patch.
I'm cool with
So-
leaving it there. If we want to, do we want to leave it there? I'm cool with it. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah.
There or
Good.
C, but I would leave it there probably.
Yeah.
Last time I
Yeah.
checked, it's just a giant missile magnet.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm
Yeah.
having a mental blank on the next one. The ED ship. What is it? Back to
Nomad.
sea. The Nomad. There we go.
What
Now, what do we think about the Nomad being in sea, which is crazy to me? I remember there's that one exploit with the gimbal as 100% hit accuracy. Maybe that's why it's there. Like,
Possibly.
with that bug that they had to ban it from the tournament. Like, I don't know if you guys knew about that bug, but because the gimbal was like a mining thing or like a grav tool thing.
No, it's
You
the
could
tractor
bug
beam on top.
the tractor beam, yeah, and you could bug it to have 100% accuracy as long as they were on your screen, which was the most hilarious bug ever. Is that why we're doing this? Is that why it's at sea? Because you hop in this thing and you're gonna get just ruined by almost everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it can be in C tier, even if you have that.
it used to have that
because the-
huge capacitor too, didn't it? Like massive, wasn't it?
It did, but that was when capacitors mattered too.
Yeah.
And now a Gladius can pretty much one mag a Nomad, so I don't even think that matters anymore. It was very tanky when everything had, capacitor struggles, but now it's just it doesn't
I
have
think
that
it belongs
advantage
in
anymore.
F.
Okay,
Not a
let's draw.
combat ship.
I'm
Small
down for
guns.
it.
F or E? I'd go.
The thing
E.
is, too, is like you hop in this thing thinking it's a C tier ship, meaning a halfway ship. Like you're gonna get punished like drastically, right?
if
like
you
this thing-
go fight, if you go into any real fight with this thing, I think you're just gonna die so quickly. You're gonna be depressed. Like even these other terrible ships, yeah, they might not be able to kill anything, but the Nomad will just instantly die. Like a Hornet shoots you, like dude, you can't get away. Dude.
I mean, the F8 alone is gonna shoot the Nomad into F tier.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Okay, next up, Mantis and C. I think this is a crime. The Mantis is and you guys know why we like it, right? Is because this can stop 20 players from being able to escape. This can turn a fight from a 5-minute, like from a 30-minute fight to a 5-minute fight. Like the amount of usefulness to a Mantis, and mind you, we got some really good Mantis pilots, but the amount of usefulness to a Mantis itself with the mechanics is insane. Like, they're so good, right? Like, and
Yeah, with floor mat in the pilot seat and
Yeah,
his
yeah,
level
Matt.
of communication, it's unmatched. Like
You-
it's
you
so
literally-
important for
you have a
team fights.
switch, like a light bulb switch, where you're flicking it and stopping people from being able to leave fights. It's like, hey, we want it on, Matt. Okay, these guys die. Okay, Matt, take it off. Hey, Matt, put it back on. Okay, take it off. Like, and this is the difference between living and dying. So, I'd put it, I'd put it in S. What do you guys think? I'd put it back of
tier.
S.
This is one of the best ships in the game.
And people don't
nothing else
utilize
is like
this
that.
thing. It's so
This is
good. It's so underplayed. Yeah, it's criminal
why.
that people don't use it.
I think
I
the only
agree
reason
with
I
it.
wouldn't put it into
Fragile
S
missile
tier-
magnet. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the
That's-
missiles. Yeah. And with that, maybe with the missile bug, because of that, there's an argument that it could go in A tier purely based off missiles being bugged. Yeah, I could agree with that. So
I
what do
agree
you-
with
what-
this rating here, though. The expert for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
I
needs
think there are
one.
only a few pilots, 1 or 2 in the entire game, who are capable of actually getting the utility out of this. But honestly, when Matt is in a Mantis, it's a force multiplier like nothing else.
yeah, it's so crazy. It's
incredible.
so crazy. Yeah.
I would still put this in S tier because there's nothing like it. This is what enables you to kill fucking Polarises. This is what enables you to end fights. This is like a good Mantis.
Takes away nav entirely. It halves the top speed of fights because people can't go into nav in fights. It's criminal. It goes in C. So we put it A at least. Like, are we all satisfied with A?
bare minimum. It's
Okay.
Mantis
All right.
is
Let's draw
so good.
that into A.
I
We don't have to
would
put it in
put
the
it-
top or anything, but
A as best in slot for A.
okay. Well, let's just leave it there for now. We can decide where
Yeah.
it goes. Yeah. All right. Next up, Glaive. For me, it falls because it's just super broken. Shitty cockpit experience. The guns aren't gimbaled. You said the repeaters are broken too?
Yeah, they don't have cap basically. They have like 8 shots or something.
Yeah. So it's just like this thing's like bugged to the like it's ridiculous. This thing's just broken, right? Do we keep it at sea? Like maybe in atmosphere, the cannon's got a better hit rate with the slower flight, but I don't see an argument. Drop it.
We actually did. We did 3v3s. We actually tested literally this exact scenario. 3v3s, and one of us was in a glaive, and it was Cobra. And that thing was the biggest piece of shit we've ever had in 3v3s. I don't know if he actually was able to land a shot thanks to the conversion.
It's also a missile magnet.
Yeah, that too. Terrible. Yeah, it just gets eaten alive in the missile meta. It's true. So what do we do? Drop it to F?
I'd put it to E.
E?
Yeah.
I think. Okay, well, let's draw it over to E. Okay, and then next up, the Hawk just hasn't been compelling in a long time. What do you guys think?
But it sucks.
Yeah, I feel like it had a moment when Master Modes first came out where it was feeling, maybe similar to the Mustang. But yeah, I think it doesn't deserve to be in C.
Where would you guys rate it then?
E or I'd say D. I think D is fair.
I say D, yeah.
D. Okay. Next up, the Intrepid. Just draw it to E. So the Intrepid in C, like, wow. What do we think of that, dude?
I don't even know. Like, what are we doing here?
I think Fresh was right. You just replace the Sandtalk with the Intrepid.
Sandtalk with the Intrepid?
The thing is, the Intrepid is then still too high. Yeah, like
it goes to F minus.
That's true.
Yeah.
It goes to F minus.
It's trash. It has one size 1 shield. It has one fucking gun. It's slow. It has no rate. Like, why is this thing even in combat? This thing is horrible.
He stated it was 3v3. Yeah, but you can use. I mean, we're all assuming it's small skirmish, anyways. But the Intrepid in 3v3, we all agree would suck. Yeah, like just
it's a big target. It has one size 4. It's not good at turning.
I don't understand. Like, okay, why am I looking at an Intrepid next to an F8, an Intrepid above a Sandtalk Yai, above a guard, 2 tiers above a Guardian, above a Mantis? Like this.
Let's be real. 3 Intrepids lose to 3 Guardians or 3 Vanguards or 3 Aries or 3 Eclipses. Like
maybe even 3 Sandtalks.
Okay, so it plummets. It plummets. This one's super out of touch. We all agree then, yeah? This one just plummets, yeah? We can all at least agree. Okay.
Worst take of the tier list by far from what we've seen so far.
Okay, so this is we're finally getting to the good stuff, okay? We're finally getting to the reason all the guys have been laughing in Discord for the last 12 hours. Go ahead.
Imagine this scenario: 3v3 Intrepids versus F8s. That's what this tier list suggests. 3v3 Intrepids versus F8s should be a 50-50. Like that's what it suggests. I can't. Like what?
Yeah, crazy,
insane.
And okay, so the F8. Now we don't like the F8s, right? Like we don't fly them anymore. Reason being they're too slow. They fall prey to maneuverability too hard. And the one thing they've got going for them is they're tanky to a degree, but they can't defend that tankiness anyways. They're just at the mercy of everybody. So they die a slow death regardless. And then they have a ton of firepower. So the firepower probably being the reason it's in C. What do you guys think? I don't think it loses. Well, I mean, it can lose to things lower on the list, but it's still useful with the gigantic amount of guns. It's still tanky.
I think I would put it like B tier, like
back of B
tier,
backline B tier. What do you guys think? I'm kind of like whatever about it. This next pick is wild, but
yeah, I don't care that it's here. Like it definitely is a 10. Like if you ignore it, right? But then there is a lot of like it's based off who your teammates are. Right?
Yeah.
Like if they leave you in the dust and they don't know how to anchor on the larger ship with, like as a tank, then this is null and void. But if you have a good team, like it still could be effective.
Yep. And I think there's like something to be said for people that go in heavies like this and they stack them. And so like peeling them like somewhat becomes possible to a degree. But then the fact that it's so slow on the nose means you go up against small fighters, you're going to have a real hard time hitting them regardless. So even standing your ground's a bit tough. Like fitting into a 3v3 composition, like maybe a little bit. I'd put it halfway probably. So I'm kind of cool with it being there. I'm not like if I want to nitpick, maybe it goes up a couple of slots, but it's just whatever for me, right? What do you guys think? Beginner, I agree with as well.
I mean,
good.
It could be here or be. I think I actually kind of agree with this. Honestly, I think it's a missile magnet. I think it's easy to spot. I think it can't keep up with the stealth meta. It's just not that great right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, next one is the 85X. That's the name of it, correct?
This is insane. This is insane.
Okay, so the thing is too, it's like its threat level's a 2, its control is a 6, so meaning it's agile. Its survivability is a 2. How is it in C? Like even it's got some of the lowest numbers out of any of the other ships. It's almost as low as the Pisces. So why is it in C?
It does actually fly nice. A while back I flew an 85X and I actually really enjoyed the way that it flew, and it could actually keep up with fights, and it was surprisingly decent for what it is, but it is still what it is. It doesn't have the firepower, it doesn't have the shielding. I don't think it belongs here, but I wouldn't really drop it as low as E. I think it'd probably be D tier. Like it actually flies pretty well. It's actually kind of a fun little ship.
Do you think we care enough to move it? Like we think it's D. Do we think we care enough to move it? I don't have.
I think we care enough to move it to D. Like, having it in C is absolutely.
Yeah,
I would put it next to the Mustang. Honestly,
what do you guys think? Yeah, okay, next to the Mustang. So it's 10 slots behind. All right, next, and do we agree it takes a rookie, or it probably takes higher, wouldn't it?
No,
I think it's an expert.
Cross it out. Put red over it. Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, and you'd have to limit test or limit push this thing like crazy. Fair enough. The arrow in C tier. I'm just looking at the things behind it. I'd probably. What do you guys think?
Well, if Jerry is flying it, it can go higher.
B. I think B. It's got really good stealth. It's hard to hit because of the size of it and the hit reg. This patch, especially. I think it does require an expert, but I think it's a decent ship. It's not as good as a Gladius, but I mean, if you're good, if you're maybe 15% better than the other guy, you can easily beat a Gladius in an arrow. So I don't think it belongs in C tier. I think it's B tier.
I would switch these two. Like I get why this is here, but we come to that. But I think the arrow is more useful.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the fun stuff in a moment. This is where it gets fun, dude. It gets better the higher we go.
Like also the survivability, right? Like this is a 1-rated expert ship, right? I think the survivability should be like at least a 6. Like if you look at the Fury, for example, it's an 8, right? So the survivability on an arrow, on a really sweaty arrow, is probably an 8. Not an 8, a 6. I mean.
Okay.
Like I feel
which is fine. It's like
6.
nitpicking. Yeah, if we're going up 1, yeah, it's whatever. Next up, the little origin snub. What's it called? Someone
the
100 something, right? Yeah.
125A, I think.
Again, what do we think about this?
What is this, dude? It has 2 size 3s. It has 1 fucking shield.
He loves snubs, man. Like, because you don't die in these when people shoot at you. Like you're so microscopic. Interceptor tunings,
huge.
Yeah,
it's pretty big actually. It's the same size as a Gladius almost.
So it's the interceptor tuning is what? Yeah, okay. And which leads us into our first interceptor with expert requirement. How do we feel about expert pilots needing to be required to fly interceptors? I think that's like such a bad take. Like, and I guess I'll just make my point. Like, interceptors are not like using turn rate in fight. They're not dogfighting and trying to do positional combat. They're just leaving the moment they take any damage and then merging on ships with a huge speed advantage.
I mean,
and they're just trying to third-party fights that have already started. Like, I don't think there's a skill requirement to these things much at all.
I think the expert thing is a bit much, but I would say they need to be trained. And I say that because if in order for an interceptor to be effective, like sure, it could, fly away to Narnia whenever it wants.
Yep.
But that's not being effective at all, right?
Yep.
Like, so it does take some knowledge and communication skills with your teammates in order to be effective at all in an interceptor. So I do think like maybe not expert, but definitely trained.
To train to be effective. Okay, fair enough. I can.
And now we can put it in F tier.
okay. So now
and it's terrible. Like it has 1600 HP. It has 1 shield, and it has 2 guns.
Yeah,
the thing is, like, it's insane to think that people are gonna fly that too. Die. Like this thing does not get flight time. Like there's no one flying this thing. Like
the thing is so terrible. You could never win. You go 3v3. You bring this thing, you're losing, guaranteed. Like, this thing is a piece of shit. Yeah, you can run away, but if you run away that much, you might as well just be dead anyway, because you're never gonna apply any damage, and when you do, you don't have any fucking guns. Like,
okay, so it goes straight to F, off the board almost. Okay, fair enough. Next up, the Talon. Now, I kind of like this thing. It's a bit quirky, right? It's got the tankiness. It's got
stealth.
Like a bit of stealth, right? And then it has like really decent flight and atmo. Like I actually really enjoy flying this thing in atmo. I don't know if that's like a personal love story with it, like, but
it suffers
I
from
really enjoy
oversteer. That's the main issue.
Yeah, which is a big light fighter problem, isn't it? Like the oversteer on the nose for the lights is something we kick and scream about. What do you guys think about its rating? Requiring a rookie rank is insane to me. It's got to be way more than a rookie. Like light fighters are way harder. Yeah, like
I mean, I wouldn't say expert because they're, like you said in Atmo. I do think it is easier to fly in Atmo than it is in space. Like I think Atmo kind of helps slightly with the oversteer. But yeah, I don't think it's a rookie level ship.
It's a
unless it's the Talon and it's.
I'd say expert myself, like because you have but if you guys want to settle on trained, we can. What do you think, Nix? For the
I think trained. I think that the Talon in team fights requires a lot less skill than the Gladius, for example, because it's tankier, it's stealthier. There are a lot of things that you can rely on.
True.
Like you can't missile that thing.
The fact that it's tankier means it's got it doesn't have to be as paranoid as some of the other ships and stuff. That makes sense. Yeah, I could. That's. I think I was just thinking strictly on how well you have to fly to outplay. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Like the fact that it's tanky, we can put it to a 2. Okay, definitely not a rookie ship. Next up, but are we happy with it in B? Like,
I'd go top of B or bottom of A probably. I think.
Let's move it to the back of A. Let's move it to back of A.
Look at it this way. Good with that. Talons versus 325As, like the Talons would win every fucking time.
Well, the 325A, we'll get to that.
Honestly, I'm so excited to get to the 325A. Okay, next up, but we put it up, back of A. All right, so the Cartu-al at B. I'm actually a big fan of the Cartu-al. Like, I've been smoked by a few of them because they're actually surprisingly difficult to land damage on because it's like different. It like the hull is spread out to different components or like modules, I guess, or not modules, but sections of the ship. And so you have to be consistent. Like if you do damage on the top and then you start doing damage on the bottom, then the damage you did on the top didn't help you. So like it's can be frustratingly annoying to fight that. But then you bring it out in the 3v3s and it's just a bunch of gigantic starfishes. So like the pressure and and why I'm impressed with it is more leaning on 1v1s. But then you add group fights to that equation, and they just get smoked because it's a giant fucking starfish. So I don't know. Like, if we're strictly talking 3v3s here, at a minimum, team fighting and gangs, I think it probably falls a little bit. But what do you guys think? Where would you rate it?
Yeah, the more people you have, the higher it falls, right?
Yeah,
I'd say
for me.
probably top of C maybe. But it's
Nitpicking,
this
right?
patch it might be this patch it might be better with the how bad the hit reg is, but I just think it's still too big, and so it loses shields quickly, and it's just
Yeah.
it's easy to shoot. Its nose isn't great. I mean, it's fine.
Suffers
but
to third
you wouldn't
party
have-
like heavily, right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
the big one is
Yeah.
you get third partied in this thing, which is gonna happen in a 3v3. You're getting shredded. Like, you're going to get shredded.
Another
So-
big one with it is it doesn't have missiles, like at all.
Yeah,
So
yep,
I think
yep.
that hurts it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I'd say C.
Yeah, and
probably.
it loses a wing that you didn't want to lose, and then you've suddenly lost complete control of it. Yeah. So probably to C, but that feels nitpicking, right? If it's only falling 4 slots,
it's
nitpicking, we
fine.
just leave it there. Yeah. Expert, I'd agree with expert for sure, to be honest. So, yep. Okay, fair enough. The Bennu Defender. I'm just going to get a drink real quick. You guys can talk about the Bennu Defender.
It's how many missiles does it have?
I'm actually not really familiar with the Bennu.
I've played it a bit. It feels good to fly. It's all right. I think it had some bugged MFDs, so I stopped playing it for.
Does it
for a
still have the
patch.
ammo bug where you like fly really fast in ammo, no matter what?
It probably wasn't fixed. It has good turn rates though. It has a really good nose. I don't know.
2
I'd
guns?
say yeah. 3 guns.
3?
It doesn't have many missiles though. I'd say like bottom of C maybe. Or I don't know. Bottom of C or top.
I don't
of
fly
C?
it too much,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Yeah, I know nothing about the Bennu.
But I wouldn't be scared if I face it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, I've done all right against Hornets with it. I don't know. It's okay. I would say bottom of C maybe.
It's like a feather saber, yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't belong in B tier though. I don't think it's anywhere near B tier. I think it's.
I put
not,
it in C probably somewhere.
It's not a competitive ship. It's really not.
Just put it at the end of C. Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Virgil's not here, so we'll just do the next one. That's the Antares, right?
Is that the Antares or the regular Scorpius? I think it doesn't have the turret. Oh.
It's got it. It's got
Actually, it does have the turret. Yeah, it's the regular. I mean, it doesn't belong.
How are you comparing that in the 3v3? Like, I don't get that scenario, but
yeah, I don't think this thing belongs in B tier. I think he gets missiled a lot, doesn't it? Doesn't it just get farmed by missiles?
Are we talking the Scorpius now?
Yeah, we're on the
Yeah.
Scorpius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's that good. I think it shares capacitor with the pilot, doesn't it? I don't know if it still does. I wish I knew 100% on that, but I don't think it's competitive.
Let's assume it's the Antares. I think the Antares is the only one that would maybe make it that high. Maybe? I don't know. I never fly it.
I haven't been scared of any Scorp, so I'll tell you that. I think
it's so
they
hard to
suck
get
right
a
now.
fucking button pusher, you know? Like, so I think that alone like drops it down if it is the Antares.
Yeah, I would probably drop it to where the Hurricane is. Probably like top of D or bottom of C, something like that.
I'm purely looking at control. Control is 8, so that means, according maybe to Avenger, that's interceptor tuning. So that would be the Antares, right? Or am I thinking this wrong?
Oh, it doesn't share anymore? Oh, someone said in chat that it doesn't share the guns anymore. So
Scorpius have interceptor. Do both Scorpius have interceptor tunings, or just one of them?
The thing is too is like in a 3v3 scenario, you have to assume this thing's going to take 2 players, so you're down a ship as well, right? Like, and which means you're going to get shredded. Like, so according to
bottom
the
of-
3v3 rule set, it plummets, right?
Yeah, I would go bottom of C or top of D with it probably. I mean, the
Okay.
missile magnet aspect of it especially is just kind of ruins it, I think.
Let's put it back of C then, yeah. And that's because that ain't nitpicking. That's falling 10 slots. So we'll put it back of D. That makes sense. All right. Next up, next up. No, we have the old Hornet series, which have not fallen off and are still really really good. But B is also arguably not a bad place. Next to the Saber, I bring it pretty close. So what do we think about the old Hornets? The sad thing about it is no one flies the old Hornets. They've just been upgraded by like the new man, right? So I haven't even seen one of these. I think I've seen one of them in AC because a guy refused to buy them, but that's it. Like
I flew one and it felt
bad.
pretty bad. I don't like the nose on it. I think it feels pretty bad. I think it can't really win a 1v1 against a light fighter pilot who's actually knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't flown it in a while, but the Wildfire used to have a faster turn rate than all the other.
I
Hornets,
think
that actually felt really good in Atmo.
But they have I think they have bug nose turrets, right, guys? I think the Hornet Tracker and Ghost Mark IIs have the broken nose. I think it turned out that these have broken nose too. Is that thumb? Yeah, it is. But can anyone confirm that? Do the old Hornets have bug noses as well?
I mean, we could just assume that they don't.
I think they do. Okay, we'll just assume. Yeah, assume that's not intentional. Then.
They don't.
Yeah. Okay. So where would we put
would
it?
say
I don't. Like, I think it should be there at minimum. I don't think it should go lower than that. It's just whether or not it should go higher. But what do you guys think?
Definitely not higher.
Leave it there.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
But you think? Okay, but like understand the ships that are above it, right? Like look at the ships that are above it. We've got a Razor. We got a Raven.
Or the ones next to it.
Somehow we have a Raven up there, bro. 2 slots to the left is the biggest meme I've ever seen, but we'll get to that. Let's not get too excited. Requires a beginner. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'd agree with that. So we're just gonna leave it there. Is that the word?
That's fine.
Okay. The Saber, which it's funny because Fresh literally just killed a bunch of these guys today at Pyro with a Saber, didn't you?
So the reason, in a pure 3v3 scenario, I think the Saber is pretty much the B tier. I think you also rated it B tier in your list.
Yeah.
But in the PU, I would rate it A tier. Just because the way you can stealth it and you can control like the fight and shit, you know? Like for this list it's probably okay, but I would overall rate it higher in a PU environment.
Yeah, because you can like lean on stealth and stuff like that. Yeah. Like I get it, and like you might not be expected to be there and stuff like that. That makes sense, and it's important. Like we equate that into this, right? Like this is about 3 ships meeting 3 ships, like, and discovering 3 ships. This isn't like some gank scenario, like nothing like that. This is 3v3s, team fighting and gangs. So, meaning likely prior knowledge. This is like there's missing ships if you can't see them in stealth and stuff like that. So leaving it in B, that's fine with me. If we're like talking and that's the thing, is like my list is different in that aspect. It like incorporates pyro and stuff like that and playing the PU and stuff. This is just a 3v3 thing. So it being in B, I'm okay with it.
Like I would always take the F7A Mark II.
I don't think
in front of the Saber, right?
If we're talking about 3v3s, I don't think I'd put it ahead of the Hornets, though, guys.
I would for sure.
In a 3v3, it's going to get pancaked so quickly.
Nah, I don't think those Hornets are that good. Their noses are pretty bad. They're pretty easy to shoot compared to the Saber. The Saber's got a really nice profile. I think if you fly the Saber right, it's much stronger.
The profile's like this, Nix. It's a huge pancake.
Yeah, if you get pancaked, but if you play it
you're gonna get. Yeah, but like, are you not talking about 1v1s? in a 3v3,
I
I
don't
don't know
think
how
you're
you
gonna
play
get-
it. You're gonna get shredded.
Nah, you won't get pancaked that easily in the Saber. I mean, you can still turn your ship sideways to them as well if necessary.
Yeah, but
You
like
can just
3
roll.
different guys, like
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, but they're also
simultaneously.
gonna have 2 other guys on them.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
get
but-
like
they're gonna be getting pancaked. The Hornet when the Hornet gets pancaked, it's like half a mag from a Saber to kill it. Like it's pretty weak too. I don't think that that
All right,
I
we'll,
think they're
we'll leave
both
it there.
okay,
I think I would
yeah.
disagree, but like we'll either way, they're shoulder to shoulder, right? So we could just leave it there. That's fine. We're debating not much, anyway, so that's fine. And we think it's a beginner ship. Yeah, I'd probably say
no.
I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think
in
so,
order
no,
in order
no.
for it to be effective, I think it's
Trained,
Well, then
really
where would you
good
put it?
rookie.
Rookie.
trained,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Rookie. Yellow. That's
I
fine.
think
So
you have
let's
to know how to
You,
you have to know how to knock
think
your
2
pancake.
trained?
You have to
mean,
know how to
it's
knock
either-
your pancaked. If you're in a 3v3 and you fly the Saber in wrong, you're gonna get
But I also
fucked.
know like the scariest sabers are just backstrafing me. Like
Well, either way,
it
it's a
doesn't look
tactic.
hard.
They know how
Yeah,
to fly.
Yeah, no, but like that's what I'm just saying. Like if a ship's like arguably best maneuvers to just hold the esky, I wouldn't think.
I mean, I don't think it is in a team
fight.
fight. In a duels, in a duel,
Yeah,
it is,
sure, but there's like,
right?
yeah. Okay, fair enough. No,
in a
2,
team
we can-
fight, if you just backstrafe, you're gonna die,
Yeah,
it
or your
doesn't
teammates
work.
will.
that's fine. You guys put it 2. I'd put it at 3, but that's fine. Okay, next up, the origin. Okay, no, this is like actually insane. Is what this one is. Like this one is just like absolute mind blowing to me. This is just correct me if I'm wrong, chat. This is the one that you can buy the coffee machine in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Like-
one.
This is the coffee ship.
Yep.
Yep.
It's the size of a fucking house too.
You could also buy
got an
your
interior.
trim and a bed cover,
Racing seats, brother.
racing
Th-
seat,
Mhm.
steering wheel.
Now, okay, put your mind. I guess like think of it from their POV. Why would they have put this here?
Because
It's
it's
the-
fast.
It's the
Easier to run
interceptor
away
tuning,
from people.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
100%.
interceptor tuning and it has a size 4 and 2 size 3s.
Mm-hmm. Which ain't like
It's-
it's similar to the Saber and Hornet when it comes to damage. Like, but
It's just like the Titan, except for, in my opinion, this back area always
she
breaks
makes it a
way
S.
first.
Yeah. It does. Like, here's what's crazy to me. Like, I've seen, like, I've skimmed the video. Like, this is supposed to be a representation of things. No one is flying this. Like, when was the
I've
last
never even
time
seen
you
Avenger
guys have
fly it.
seen anyone fly this? It like I'm
haven't.
at least 4. No, I think 5 years for me. You saw one in
flew it
AC
recently.
earlier, and it died a lot. Probably because of the video. that guy probably got baited with the video. This is bonkers, right? Like, no one flies this thing. No one would fly this thing. There's not a PvPer in like type it in chat, guys. Name a PvPer in any org that is flying this thing. NPCs fly it? do they even fly it? I haven't seen an NPC flying one of these things. I think they know it's shit too. Anyone? Your wife flies one? No
I'm
one?
pretty sure you can 1-mag that shit.
7 when he's
It
flying
looks
wacky
okay.
shit. I wonder what 7 thinks. Is 7 in the chat? It'd be hilarious if he was. This is crazy.
I mean, this is one of the worst ships in the game for like 4 years running. It's terrible. It's gigantic. It still has no HP. If I recall, it still got less HP than a Gladius. I'm not 100% on that.
Someone
huge.
asked when was the last time I saw a hammerhead that people, bro, I've seen the hammerhead flown a bunch of times. Like many
Saw one today in
times.
the PU.
Yeah. Like many times. But regardless. So what
This thing is awful. It's
where
like
does it go? Does it go
E-tier.
off it goes like it goes past F, wouldn't it? Like, I think you ripped this thing
I
off.
think it's better
Nah.
than this other Origin ship. I forgot what this
Yeah.
the
The
125?
100. The
Yeah,
100i.
it's better than that.
It's better than that.
Where would you guys rank it? It falls at
E-tier,
least 20
probably.
slots. E?
I'd say E.
Back of E,
Yeah.
middle, front, no, yeah, front of E. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because you're going to put it above a Pisces.
The thing that
You put
people
it
don't
above a
realize,
Vanguard.
right? If you're using the boom and zoom tactic stuff that he's so hard about, right? The whole flying towards someone and then doing big damage and flying out straight away. You can do that. I agree when you're using like a small ship, right? That can do it and not get hit much. But the 300 series will get wrecked by any ship when it just comes in. Like it doesn't even have the option to get back out because it dies on the approach.
Yeah, it's too big. It takes 100% of incoming fire because it's got interceptor tunings
Exactly.
and it can't side strafe to dodge fire. It's got 1650 critical HP, I think, which is less than even a Gladius and an arrow and all that. So I mean, you're killing these things pretty much in, half a mag. And this thing, the other thing that's important about these things is they don't really apply enough damage to make boom and zoom work. Like when the whole boom and zoom tactics work, in order for them to work, you have to actually be able to apply enough damage to actually kill something. If you had 3 of these on a team, or even 1 of these on a team, it would never do enough to even be considered a threat before it had to run away. You'd probably get, I don't know, 10 shots in and then have to leave. And you could probably not even track the person you're shooting at because it's got a pretty bad nose and it has no strafe, so you can't match. It can't really chase anything. It's just terrible. I mean,
it can chase to defend it a little bit. If somebody's getting ready to nav out, like I do think the Titan and this guy are good at chasing. But like my problem with it being here is because it does have
gigantic.
2 size 3s and a size 4. But yeah, it's gigantic. And if you're in Atmo and you lose one of these, which is usually the first fucking thing to go, especially with the spread that we have, you're fucked.
Yep.
You're dead.
It just takes an absolute beating. Yeah. Yeah. Like, as far as the interceptors, it just soaks the most damage, which is not what you want from an interceptor, right? Like, the whole point is avoiding damage. So, yeah.
It's squishy.
The way that this is being imagined is that this thing comes in and hits the Hornets a little bit and then flies away and then hits the Hornets a little bit. But it's just important to remember that they're never going to actually win. There's no win condition with this, ever. You're never going to beat Gladiuses. You're never going to beat Hornets. Like 0% chance that ever happens because you simply don't.
What if you mix composition? Like, what if it's like, I'm trying to defend it. What if it's like one of them and 2 other fighters?
I think it only works on. Yeah, I think it only works on large scale, right? Like if you have 6 or more, you have the affordability to use interceptors, right? I don't even know why I drew that, but like the Buck or the Titan. But a 3v3, Nix is right. Like you're down a pilot. Like these are not brawlers. In a 3v3, you need more brawlers. You need DPS downrange. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like as the team fight grows, I think you do have more affordability to get a guy who's chasing because people will nav out. Right. But if you swap a DPS ship for an interceptor in a 3v3, like your guys are going to be the dudes navving out.
Yeah.
And it's
not 4 things too.
How
it's
do
a
we
missile magnet. Like it'll just get missiled to death too.
How do I do this?
It's a missile magnet, and also if you're in a large fight, which is, like Thumb said, the only place that it can actually be viable. If you're in a large fight and one guy in a Hornet decides to target you while you're flying through, you're dead.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Just dead. There's no counterplay. You're not going to survive.
When we're doing the squad training, right? Like last week, or no, it was actually a few weeks ago. Thumb was in a Avenger, which is basically the same thing, right? Just better than the 300. And one just always looked for him to come back in. And when he came back in, everyone or whoever had the chance just looked at him wrong, unloaded his mag, and he had to go again, right? He couldn't be effective at all. And even if you had a 3v3 or whatever, it's what we always do in squads with the Hornets, right? You see someone come in, you dodge a bit with the strafe, and you just one mag someone that comes in. Like, the boom and zoom tactic only works if you're basically a rookie and don't know how to fucking like be aware of who's coming in and who's going out.
What would you rate this thing on a 1 to 10 scale of how ridiculous it is that it's on the list right now?
10.
10?
This is awful. This thing is awful. Like, if you ever take this thing into a competitive fight, you will lose. There's no org that is competitive in this game that will not just dumpster you if you bring this thing.
Like, it for me, it's the second most ridiculous one on this list. But yeah, like, crazy. I didn't even put it on the list. I was like, there's no way I'm putting like a coffee cup machine ship, that is the size of a bus, on a PvP list. But yeah, fair enough. What is this list, man? Don't know. Next up, we got the Hornet F7A, boys. Holy schmoly, dude. So everything above it is supposed... Name a ship above that beats the Hornet. Like, in a 1v1, for example. Best pilot in both. Or really good pilot in both.
Maybe
Which
the
ships...
Gladius. That's it.
Yeah, like maybe the Gladius... Barely,
that, no.
Right? Like, because the Hornet's just going to backstrafe and kill it, right? Like, and we're just strictly talking 1v1s right now, but the Hornet still wins all of these, right?
We actually tested Gladius versus Hornet quite a bit.
Any interceptor? No way.
It never. The Gladius never won. It was Terry and I tested it a ton. It's just the Hornet wins.
Yeah,
it's better.
And the thing is too is it's a force multiplier. Like, you're not going to do interceptor runs on Hornets. They're going to shred you. Like, you put the best interceptor, which is the buck, right, against three bucks, assuming you're doing that. Because even if you mix match the interceptors against the Hornets, say you put like 2 Gladiuses and a buck or something, then those 2 Gladiuses get shredded before the buck does anything. That buck is going to get deleted. Just try to complete a pass. Like, they got one shield now. They're going to get shredded. So, like, and to be clear, not what we want, right? Like, none of us are having a great time flying the Hornet meta. Like, the Hornet meta is, like, the ship is not maneuverable. You're not doing great out turning. You're not having very exciting flight. But it by far smokes these ships, doesn't it? Like, everything.
Hornet, the F7A is the best ship in the game. It's the best dueling ship, like, hands down. There's nothing that beats it. I mean, we tested everything, with our top guys. We dueled everything versus the Hornet. Nothing beats it.
I don't know why
it's one of the easier ships to fly. It's just the best ship in the game. Like, there's no...
Yeah, it's the whole package, right? Like, it's not hurting in any category enough to justify it not being number one. It's like it has enough maneuverability to make choosing that ship worth it. Like, it's slow, but it's not too slow to the point that it's so good still. It's still the best. And it's like weapon to tank to maneuverability ratio is just way too high. It's way too high in all those 3 categories. Like, you heard it a lot in maneuverability, then it will start to fall down these rankings. You take away damage, maybe it starts to fall down these rankings, or tankiness. But at the moment, where all 3 of those categories sit, it's just the king. Like, it blows my mind because everyone in the PvP community knows this. And I need to know, like, who in the PvP community, what org is getting scrimmed? Like, what other organization is out here losing to these ships above? Like, I can't think of a single organization that isn't rocking all Hornets, if not like a mixture of Hornets and Gladiuses. Who's losing to this?
It's just an incredible ship. If you have a beginner, if you have a rookie, you have a trained pilot, an expert, doesn't matter who you have.
The Matador Hornet,
You want them all in fucking Hornets. Like the Hornet is just that good. It's
just the king. It's the king.
It's the ship. Yeah. If you're going into a fight, it's how many Hornets versus how many Hornets. Like you need to be bringing Hornets. This list falls apart completely. Like this was absurd. But this in B tier, no.
Yeah, criminal.
If you bring any of these ships to a 3v3 versus 3 Hornets, you lose. With the one exception, if you're really good, you might be able to win with the Gladius. Maybe, but it's still no. The Hornets win. The Hornets win.
Yeah, it's very you can't fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. And like even if you throw the firebird into the equation, like the Hornet can survive firebirds. It's not like a missile magnet to the point.
Chaff slots.
Yeah.
You know? So like you don't need like all the other ships, right? You got a preset.
It's not a death
4,
sentence. It's not a death sentence in a Hornet against missiles. You can just put the right power plant on it and your flares are going to work, right? Like, so it's not like some of the other ships like a Hurricane or a Vanguard where your flares are probably just not going to work. Like, I don't think it works in a similar way. So, like, okay, criminal, that goes to the top of S. We all know that. Like, I don't know. Like, and that's just provable, right? Like, that's the story in AC. That's the story in internal scrims. That's the story that every PvP org knows. Like, there's not a group that is losing to another group that is running. Like, you know, I guess we're supposed to look at this from 3v3s, yeah. But there's not an org that doesn't know that wouldn't pick Hornets in 3v3s anyways. You know, like maybe you could get some sort of mixture and add a little bit of Gladius into that, but you're gonna pick Hornets every time, aren't you?
Yeah, it's. I mean, maybe you could, if you're doing 3v3s in AC, maybe you'd add a Fury. Yep. Fury could be good.
Yeah.
Something like that. He's right about the Fury. It's for this. He's right about the Fury. That's
really if we're talking a 3v3 ship that you don't have to carry around pyro in a backpack and stuff like that, then. Then like I don't think the Fury. Right. I think the Fury does belong up there, but we'll get to that. But the Hornet being at B, just absolutely criminal. Yeah, it's got to jump up like 10 slots. So, okay,
Agreed.
Fair enough. Okay, the Misk Razor. I don't have a dog in this fight because like I'm not trying to fly tiny little needle ships and just abuse the fact that I'm Honey Shrunk the Kids. What do we think about this thing, the Razor?
It's not A tier. It's not.
No one is speeding people in this. Like here's the thing too. Like if you look at this list, like if you hop in this thing and you go into like AC and you shred a bunch of new players, like you could do. We could do that in an Aurora. Like people could do that in Guardians. They could do that in whatever. But you throw this thing in a 3v3 competitively, it's not gonna perform. Like
it doesn't do any damage. I mean, it really comes down to the fact that it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, okay, you can survive infinitely. So what? You can never win. You will never win. It's impossible unless you're outnumbering like 3-1, and even then, I don't know. It's pretty close actually. Like one good Gladius pilot versus 3 Razors. It could actually go either way. So this is like
it's a racing list. Come on, true. Yeah. So we think this one's out of touch. We pull that down. Where would you put it? Where would we put it?
I would put it in D.
D. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just.
I think the threat level is basically 1, right? Yeah, sure. It has control because it can go fast everywhere really quick. The survivability is high because you can't hit it for shit. But the threat level is more like a 1.
Yeah. I mean, it just can't kill anything. It's terrible. If you need 5 dudes on one target with your ships, you're probably in the wrong fucking ships.
It's just like it's not like Master Modes is about fighting. And I feel like a lot of these ships that get ranked high are there to do a whole lot of kiting and not a lot of fighting. And the problem is you can't get anywhere unless you fight. Like I get the theory to this, and we all know that what the theory is they think if you go in something with speed, then you can slowly pick apart and create 3v1 scenarios in a 3v3. Like, that's what this list is entirely banking on almost, is the Gladius. So what this list says, right, is that the Gladius is in A, the Hornet is in B for some reason, the Blade is in A. So according to this list, you are to abuse speed, abuse the size of your ship, and create 3v1 scenarios against the other group of 3. But the problem is these other it's wrong because what you do is they don't win that because 3 players in the other ships, whether it's Blades, Gladiuses, or Hornets, just phalanx stick together and kill them on passes. Like, you can't get the damage off before you get shredded by these other ships. Like, and that's the problem. More so with the Blade and the Hornet, and then the Gladius is just gonna abuse evasion whenever it gets under pressure, anyways. And then the other ships will die in the meantime. But like, that's where this is wrong, right? Is that speed and being in a tiny ship and then just employing a strategy of trying to 3v1 a ship doesn't work against a lot of these fighters. Like, specifically the Hornet, the Gladius, and the Blade. Absolutely.
You're just gonna lose. I think the biggest issue with these ships that he's choosing, like the 325, like the Razor, Kruger, whatever, all these ships, is there is no win condition. There is no point at which you're ever going to actually beat a competent team of Hornets or Gladiuses. Because yeah, okay, maybe you can never die, but you can never kill them and you can never push them off an objective. So
yeah.
I mean, you might as well just be in 3 Sabers sitting at 5 kilometers away, just looking at them. Like, it makes no difference. You cannot win with these, and he's not playing to win. And with this tier list, it's just
not to jump ahead a little bit, but like 2 of his S tier ships can't even get places on their own.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a 3v3. So I guess we're supposed to look at this like a free fly duel thing, but still, like, that makes the list very wrong. But that's the problem too, right? It's like, name an org that's pulling these ships out. Like, I've seen a couple orgs, maybe a couple days in the last like 7-8 months since Masterwords has been in here. I've seen that maybe like once or twice a couple orgs tried. No one is beating people in this.
No.
Like there's not these
good.
ships aren't getting used, man.
The only way that you beat people with this is if you go into public squadron battle lobbies with 6 dudes, all in these ships, and then you gank 1 or 2 guys at a time on an uncoordinated team. But if you went into a public squadron battle lobby with 6 dudes with F7As, all coordinated, you'd kill the lobby in probably 30 seconds to a minute. So, like, the idea that these are competitive or capable of winning kind of goes away when you just substitute the same number of people for Hornet.
Right? And just hold your ground. Play hold your ground. That's the problem, is like the phalanx strategy, which is just stack guns, stack the ability to aim, like enough pitch in yours so that you're not enough, like an ion, for example. So you just bring a good weapon ratio with a reliability to hit, and you just hold your ground. You're going to kill anything that tries to do this slow pick apart strategy. The slow pick apart strategy does not work. Like, proven. Willing to prove it at any time. We've done this internally 1,000 times over. Like, with the best players in the game. Like, it's the players that are winning the tournaments and everything, and it's no contest. It's not for a lack of not wanting it. Like, a lot of us want the combat to be more interesting, but yeah, like, these ships don't measure up for sure. Let's move on to the next one. So the Razor falls to D. The Firebird, bye-bye based, probably could even go higher in my opinion. I'd still put it in S. What do you guys think?
I think S tier. It does exactly what it does perfectly. Shred. It's the best ship. Like,
I will say though, 3v3, I would keep it in A.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah. Like, if you're in a 3v3 and you know there's a Firebird on the other team, you're just going to play super passive. You're going to be super worried about the missiles. And then the moment you're no longer worried about the missiles, you've won. Like, the moment you've figured out and been effective with, flaring off missiles, running them off, nabbing them off and stuff, you're good. You just have to survive the initial onslaught and flare appropriately and, you know, not get baited with the missile tones and stuff. There is that bug, but this thing's not going to be competitive in a 3v3, right? Like not at least to the degree that you'd probably put it in S tier, which you'd be expecting the best ships to be in. So yeah, I actually agree with that. Like, because my list is trying to be something else. This is just the 3v3 list. But yeah, I'd sit it in A. What do you guys think?
I mean,
3v3s. Just remember, 3v3s.
If you add like 1 or 2 more players to that, like 4v4, 5v5, this thing becomes S tier.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
true.
But it's a 3v3. Yeah, and that's the
like
downside to it.
Like if we're doing, we'd have to move the Mantis.
Point. Yeah, if we kind of strictly look at it. Yeah, true, very true. Yeah. So, the Mantis would start to fall down rapidly because you're not desperate for an addiction in a 3v3. You're just trying to fight it out.
I still would rank the Firebird, like I would rank it higher, but I would still keep it A. Only because it's super dependent on, you know, like being able to even launch a missile at a target, right? So factoring in stealth. Gladius can flare them off pretty easy. Hornet can flare them off pretty easy. So if you're comparing it to like what we classify as S tier, I don't think it does like the DPS, but I do think it's high A, but it's leaving a lot of things to chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, you better hope that they were dumb enough to get the, and like that you could do like something interesting with it where it's like you're masking its missiles with like a Gladius or something. Like you do double Gladiuses. They're using missiles to try and convince people to spend flares to the point that. You've launched enough missiles, and then the third ship being the Firebirds, then, you know, wasted most of their flares and has a full kit of missiles to start using, and the Gladius is just playing defense, like super heavy and trying to be evasive, trying to be a nuisance, and the whole goal being to take out their flares. So yeah, I'd keep it like A there, but I don't think it's an S. But like what you said, Nix, and it's like so accurate. The second you start adding a single player to this, like a 4v4, this thing just starts rapidly climbing the ranks. Like every player you bring, it moves up 2 to 3 slots every time.
I agree.
And then to the point that like if it's a 10v10, you'd be arguing it to be right next to the Hornet. Similar to the list I've got. So yeah, I've got it as second on my list, but in the 3v3, I think in A it kind of makes sense for sure. Do we agree with the beginner? I wouldn't know so much. I haven't flown it as much as I would like to have, but do we agree it's a beginner ship? I mean, you don't have to aim with this thing. I know there's some clever tricks you can do with it, but it's still like beginner, right?
Yeah, I think overall, beginner
definitely
ship.
beginner. Yeah.
But
I think that it's, I mean, when you start getting up into 8v8, 10v10, I wouldn't even go into a fight without a Firebird, man. Like it gets so good.
For sure.
It's crazy how good this thing is.
Okay, which I actually don't mind. Like, I want the missile gameplay again to get far more interesting, far more entertaining. Like, an actual good mechanic that is balanced and skill required, right? For sure. Like, we all want that. But it's cool that there's another ship with another approach to combat that isn't just, like, laser beam a pip. You know, like, it's cool that there's another way to play. And people are annoyingly effective in it. That weren't annoyingly effective in just ship combat. So
I will say though, to make it an A tier ship, I don't think it should be beginner. Like, I mean, I consider myself a pretty good pilot, right? But I tried the Firebird and I didn't have much success in it right away. Like, you actually need to train it a little bit to understand how it works.
Yeah, I agree.
Engage and shit like that. Like, I would at least put it to.
But it's a little bit.
I know it's nitpicking, but you know.
Yeah. I could agree with that. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Okay, next up. This one's the most insane to me. Like, this one is like 10 out of 10 insane to me. There is not a single Saber. Dude, this is for 3v3s as well. Like, holy moly, this one is bonkers. Like, this
You're also liable to shut off your own team.
Yeah, like friendly fire. Like, it's got 2 size 3s, interceptor tuning, and like the love for interceptors, because I don't know why they're above.
It doesn't make sense. The other reason it doesn't make sense to me is like in order for an EMP to work properly, not only do you have to have shields down on a ship, but you have to be fucking close.
Yeah, you have to be like insanely close in this thing.
Yeah.
You have.
If it had QED, sure, like put it up there, but
yeah, and it's an interceptor, so you have to get within that distance with the interceptor, which is basically almost docking with the thing.
Yeah,
and you're doing that at high speed because you're in an interceptor, so you're like doing flybys. So you have to time this EMP perfectly, not hit a teammate, and be in a window of opportunity where you can be completing your pass while their shields are low and land it. And then on top of that, it's like you're going to get shredded in this thing. And what the heck are you going to do for the rest of the time in this? This thing's going to, like, what are you going to do? Shoot at people with 2 size 3s? Like this
run away, I guess.
This, I would take, guys, this is like shoulder to shoulder with the Intrepid. Like, this thing is terrible. Like off the list bad. Off the list bad. Like this one out of everything on this list is the craziest to me. Like, if you have this ship, don't pull it out of a hangar. It's almost like A1's trying to rig the game. There's an agenda, I think, behind all of this, because these ships like don't make sense. It's speed, right? Like, all these ships just have speed, but no one is using speed competitively against other competitive groups. It's not happening. Like,
yeah. There's no reason to take a Raven instead of another Gladius. I mean, yeah, okay, someone takes the shields down, on a ship. You could EMP them. Sure, that might work. But if you had another Gladius shooting at them, the guy's already going to be dead.
Yeah, you need the stars to align for this thing to do anything. And at the same time, right, it's like people are in Hornets. You get EMP'd by Raven and you're in a Hornet. Do you know what happens? Nothing. You shrug off the EMP. It doesn't matter. It didn't do anything. Like, your screens go dim for like 5 seconds and then you're back to being good. Like, it's crazy. This thing, like, is the worst ship. It's the worst. Like, it truly is the worst one.
The only way I can imagine that this is here is because they did 3v3s with using this thing and also using razors. And so, like, the razor shield would go down and they'd EMP it or something. Like, this is the only way that it makes sense, because this thing is not competitive. It's just not good.
Yeah. EMPs in general are just
weird
really
fake fights.
Yeah. Like, who is doing these scrims? I need to know where these scrims are. Like, who are these scrims? Where are they? Like, this is this one 10 out of 10 ridiculous for me.
No,
the Raven can shut down a light. It's 11. Yeah, the Raven can shut down a light fighter still. Yes, if the stars align. Yeah, but like, here's the thing. It's like you're planning an entire ship based off a tiny scenario, in which case, if you got the shields down on a light fighter, you know what's better to do than that, Voodoo? Is just kill the thing. Why are you trying to disable it? You're trying to pirate this thing? Like, just kill it. like why even want to do that? Yeah, you know what'll be nice? Like, holding the left click down for a second on the Hornet and killing it instead. And then the best thing is you haven't wasted the first 10 minutes of the fight trying to land an EMP joust. Like, it's just like what is this thing contributing to the fight? Try to have fun, goddammit. Yo, base Voodoo. Sorry, bro. I love the Raven too. I have 2 of them. I love this thing, but it sucks. It does, and I don't want to pretend it's not. Horrible. So
looks cool though.
I feel, bro, this guy's like, we're trying to have fun, goddammit. Yo, I feel so bad, like I crushed his dreams. Voodoo, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, she's not good for you, man. She's not good for you. You have to move on. Yeah, not gonna work. That one's just gonna plummet. Like, you just have to rip that down. Like, I'd take it off of F. I'd actually take it off of F. It wouldn't even make F for me. Like,
no, I think it's definitely like above some of this this horrible shit.
Oh,
like
I guess
Sula
yeah. Well,
and
you'd
stuff.
bring it. You'd bring it. I mean, you're not gonna in a 3v3. I don't think you're bringing an Eclipse. Like
Wait.
But
It has double EMP, right?
Yeah.
Are we sure Hornet shrugs that?
yeah, it does.
I think
Yeah,
it does, yeah.
it
Yeah,
shrugs.
size 2 shrugs.
Shrugs. Shrugs.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Tested it.
It's
I
just kinda
desperately
dumb.
wanted this thing to work. I have tried to make
Yeah.
this thing work 100 times, and it just doesn't work. No. Next up is the blade, which we love. I'll let you guys bring that up. I'll be back.
I'll move this down to what, E tier or D tier or something like that. I think D maybe.
The blade?
No, the
Oh.
Raven.
The Raven, I would put it.
Bottom of D maybe.
Yeah, bottom of D.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause I think a Mustang beats it, but
Yep.
I think it still rotates all the other things below it.
Yep.
For the blade, I actually kind of like where it is, assuming that we're going to remove some stuff ahead of
I
it.
actually kind of agree.
As
I agree
long
with it.
as trained is a expert.
100%.
Yep.
Yes.
Agreed. Blade is really
Very
good.
hard ship to fly good, but if you fly it good, it's even decent in 1v1s. Like it's
Yeah.
Very good ship.
I just don't like it because it's yaw focused. So
Yeah.
this ship.
Yeah, it's a tough one to wrap my head around. I feel like I've trained pitch so much now. I'm like, what the hell is yaw?
I mean, there's a reason Atmo Esport, the fight of flight, had basically blades every time, right?
I will
Taking
say,
every single one.
I think repeater meta definitely neutered it a bit.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yes.
100% not as strong, but still in the right hands, I think it's a highly effective and capable ship that you can't ignore. Like in internals, I forgot. It was Floor Mat was flying it, and he was doing pretty good until Nyx literally had to dedicate himself to annoying Floor Mat. You know what I mean? So he had to.
Yeah.
They had to take a fighter off to bully the blade because the blade was a menace.
Yeah, it was a problem. I mean, you would hear those cannons behind you, and you would just know, ah, fuck, I'm already dead.
What do you
There
guys
wasn't really
think?
much-
What do you guys think about like the broken pip? Like yeah, the pip is a little
Nah.
misleading in it,
Nah.
but it's outplayable,
matter.
right? Like that's like you
Yeah,
can
it's
perfectly kill one just fine. It's just like a tad bit more
Yes.
difficult, but
Especially with the
people like to
amount of
pretend
ammo
it's
we
like-
have.
yeah, like you can kill this thing quite comfortably. It's not like just black or white. This thing doesn't take damage. This thing takes plenty of damage. They die plenty easy. It just feels like the pip is a tiny bit misleading, but you just spend another 5% of effort and kill this thing, right? Like these things aren't like a black and white exploit or anything. The wonky pip is a non-factor if you know exactly. Yeah, it's a non-factor. But yeah, fair enough. But it is worth mentioning. Like the pip does it does feel a little wonky, but that's about the depth of it, right? It just feels a little wonky. But how do we feel about where it is? Like, yeah. I mean,
I feel like it. We were saying we feel like it's actually good where it is, as long as it's an expert flying. the
yeah,
ship.
agreed. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, you got it. Especially with the fact that it's like your turn rate and stuff. Like it's weird, guys. Like your rating is weird. I actually despise it as a game mechanic. Like I think it's a terrible game mechanic.
Really, I was gonna say I think it's kind of cool having different ships that
Ugh.
have different flight,
No.
literally different flight styles.
I just
rather
don't
than
like it.
anything being.
I just
pitched.
don't like it on pitch. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it just had cool upstrafe or something like that. Like, you know, like that being the weird aspect. But the fact that like you have to aim with yaw is just so alien and gross. Like, ugh, to me. But that might just be me.
I'm worried they're gonna make the best light fighter or the coolest light or medium fighter that exists, and it's gonna be a yaw fighter.
Dude, like imagine if the meta was a yaw fighter and everyone had to fight in yaw. It'd be so
Yeah.
weird and gross. You're
it
not
would
wrong.
be a very ugly game for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
all I did when
Like I get what people want. Like they want a unique ship that has like a weird trait. But
all I did when I flew the blade, when I had to fly the blade for the tournament, was get enough range to where I didn't have to yaw.
yeah.
That was it.
And you can like almost like somewhat 45, right? Like because you're just a little bit off 45 and you've captured a lot of the turn rate. You just definitely don't use pitch. So, but yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, well, we're okay with it being there, right? Like I mean, if anything, I would have put it like next to the Gladius, but that's like whatever. Like we're nitpicking at that rate, but we definitely want it as a 1. Okay, the Avenger. Yeah.
Hear me out. I'm gonna start strong here, and this might be controversial.
Oh God, have they got to you?
I'm moving it right here.
Oh, what are we moving? Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
agree with it.
Yeah. That's okay with me.
Okay. I don't agree. How the hell is it in B tier? Hold on a second.
I'm just
Avenger-
basing it off of. I'm basing it off of the ships that we have. I think it beats
We
Scorpius's-
haven't moved any interceptors, have we? Like the only interceptor we had is that Origin one, and that went to the bottom because it's our bus.
Well, both the origin
and then
ships,
the
technically.
Saber Raven goes off. So like this is the only somewhat usable interceptor, right? We got the buck coming up, but so I guess the point is, where does the interceptor sit in a 3v3? Really, this interceptor sit. Keyword being interceptor as an archetype sit in a 3v3.
I'm partial to the Titan. I love it, but I think in a 3v3, anything below it in this spot, besides possibly 3 Talons, I think it beats. Easy.
It doesn't
Pretty
have
much
to
anything-
be a mirror match. Keep that in mind. Like you can, like
For
just
sure,
because
for sure.
it could be
But I'm just
complemented by
using
2
that as
Hornets
a-
or something. Yeah.
I'm just using that as a benchmark, but like I think it rotates a Scorpius for sure. Rotates a Banu. Maybe Cartu gives it issue, but it's so fast and the Cartu's large. Talon might be a problem. F8 it rotates. Hawk not a problem. Everything else we kind of moved down. I feel like it does really well on. Like
The arrow? No,
well, the arrow, didn't we move it up or did we leave it there?
I think did we leave it? I thought we left it.
Yeah, because of the bad pitch in your right, like the oversteer and stuff.
Maybe we said we were nitpicking on it or something and like moved it to B. I think we might have.
I think it was because it was the first like light fighter, right? Like that.
Yeah, I think we were
like, so we were
excited
kinda-
to get to the B tier, so I think we just kind of left it in the dust.
Yeah, maybe
well,
so.
okay. So what we'd probably put it in the middle and then move the arrow to the middle of B. Is that what we're thinking?
Probably something like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
My
Let's do
problem
that.
with the Titan is that it's so big and it just gets beamed. If
It's
you take
not
it
as
into a
big
fight-
as the 320.
But here's the thing, right?
Nah.
Like you hop in this thing, you get shredded by anything that can hold its ground in dueling or brawling. Let's not kid ourselves. If PvP groups, if you start going in a squadron battle into the PU, into AC with your 3v3 team, if you go in a tournament in Titans, you're gonna get fucking shredded.
Yeah, you're gonna
like,
get cooked.
You're going to lose quickly.
All right, that's in a 3v3, but I think it has the same.
But
effect.
if you mix match,
yeah, as you get exponentially up, I do think interceptors do have a very valuable role within team fights, just like the Hornet. Maybe doesn't like get as strong
as like
as
a
the Hornet
support,
does.
but like as a support role, right? Like you're not talking about leaning into the entire interceptor strategy. You're talking about complementing
it's
fighting with a single interceptor or something along those lines.
Like if it's us four fighting somebody, and let's just say it's a Talon, right?
Yeah.
And he's in a Hornet, and his shields are down, and he's starting to nav. Like interceptors are going to chase him down and kill him, so that the damage dealers can stay in the fight.
I feel like I'd rather have light fighters doing that role though, against Hornets and other lights.
For
I think
sure.
they're pretty
And that's
good at-
why I feel like all the light fighters are above. the
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You could
Yep.
put it at the bottom of all the light fighters. Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that.
So
I'd
like
still-
it's behind the
I feel
arrow
like-
in the middle of B. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still probably put
Or-
it C,
okay.
but yeah, it's
See,
fine.
behind the
Yeah.
Talon. Oh yeah, I'd put
Yeah,
it behind the
probably behind
Talon,
Talon.
dude.
Yeah, it's
I-
behind
yeah,
the
yeah.
Talon for sure. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I think like if
Yeah,
I had to
it's
fly
like
a
near the
Sandhawk-
Cartu-al, right? Like it's near the Cartu-al. Like because the Talon and Cartu-al is supposed to be switched, but we didn't do it because it was nitpicking. But yeah, it's like I'd say it's directly behind the Talon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good spot. And then we'd move this C up just one slot ahead of that. That makes sense to me.
Yep, that's fair.
Okay. The Gladius in A-tier criminal for me. Throw it up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's S. It's S. It's
Like-
the best nose in the game. It's so easy to apply damage with the Gladius. It's great to merge on people really, really close.
Yep. It can
Get
chase
tons
people.
of damage on Hornets. It's really hard to hit.
Someone
really
starts
hard to
running
kill on the
away,
right
it's
hand.
got the acceleration to get a lot of damage off before they like complete the escape. So yeah, like a interceptor will get away from you, but it's gonna take a beating from a Gladius beforehand. Like it's gonna
Yep.
chase you along a line, and you're gonna eat at least 300 damage every time. For
Tons
sure.
of damage output, and it's probably I would say the third best duelist in the game.
Yep.
It's such a good ship. The Gladius, like
The third best?
behind
What's the second?
F7 and Fury.
And no Fury. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I just remember from watching
Go ahead.
Avenger's video why he put the Hornet so low. He said because it's so slow, it can't get away from anything. But I think in a 3v3 with the current system, I mean, we just go nav mode, right?
Yeah.
And I know he hates nav mode, but I mean,
Yeah, you just
he's
drop
using
chaff,
an
go nav.
interceptor.
Yeah.
He's using an interceptor which has an implemented nav mode and hates nav mode, right? Like it's like
In the time that
So-
the Hornet just like does a 180, like chaff goes through it, and you can even do that like several amount of times. Even take chaff out of the equation, the Hornet just does the 180, goes forward. The buck has to do the 180 to turn and try and chase it, gets shredded. Like, yeah, man, like it's just no way. But yeah, the Gladius, fair enough. And I agree with that. Yeah, I'd put it exactly where you mentioned, Nix. Behind the Fury and behind the Hornet for sure. Strictly in 3v3 scenarios, right? Yep. Next up,
I don't know if
Go
it's
ahead.
actually behind the Fury for the 3v3.
3v3s?
I think it's behind the Fury for the duels, but I would put it in front of the Fury just because the Gladius has nav mode, which lets it reposition.
oh yeah, true. Yeah,
well
no, I forgot about
in
this.
the
Yeah.
fight.
Yep.
so I
You
would
can't
put it
nav
above.
escape in the Fury. Yep. Yeah. Okay. And it ain't for lack of trying. We've done plenty of flying the Furies, although they're the most scumbag ship in the game. But yeah. Next up is the Buck. Chat
That's
down
a
for
piece
me.
of
Like
piece of-
like
C-tier.
you can't like you hop in the Buck and you're waiting to like snag an opportunity, and that's it. And like meanwhile, other ships have 100% uptime. Like you're in a Hornet, you are constantly shooting at people, constantly applying pressure, landing kills, dominating airspace. In a Buck, you are cuckolding in the corner of the room, like waiting for an opportunity. So, like, I'm not gonna get any deeper on this, but like you're waiting for something to happen, okay? And then you're like, okay, we're not no more than this, okay? That's it. That's as far as that goes. But the point being, you're outskirting a fight, waiting for an opportunity, and that opportunity is like not gonna come to 3v3 unless you're like flying alongside Hornets and stuff. You're so reliant on the performance of other ships. And if you instead don't rely on the performance of the other ships, so the Hornets haven't gotten some prey for you to start running, if you go the 3 Buccaneer route, then you're just going to get eviscerated on trying to complete a pass against a Hornet.
Yeah,
The Hornet's going to just slam the reverse, see you coming in the straight. You can't change off the straight because that's what you are, an interceptor, fast in the streets, and you're going to get blasted. blasted.
Yep.
You add a second Hornet to that equation, you're going to get atomized. Like, you're going to be fairy dust. So,
one of the things that I really take issue with here is this thing here, the control. You don't have any fucking control over the fight. Yeah, you can run away and come back, sure, but that's not control. That, like, you don't control the death ball. You don't have control over where your teammates are. You don't have control over anything. Yeah, you can try to lead people on a wild goose chase, but what if they just say, yeah, I'm good, and they just go back to their death ball? You have no control. You have to run away constantly. And if somebody's any good at playing in team fights, they're just gonna periodically target lock you. And when you're coming in for a pass, they're gonna flip around with their Hornet or their Gladius, and they're gonna blast you, and then you're gonna have to run away again. There's no point at which you get to actually apply damage unless the people you're trying to apply damage on are oblivious. The Buccaneer also gets farmed by missiles. It's one of the worst.
Yeah, it's a missile magnet. Yeah. Gets smashed by them.
It cannot 1v1 at all, and it just got a shield nerf, so it only has one size, one shield. Like, I would put the Buccaneer below the Titan, probably. I think the Buccaneer is bad.
Yeah.
It's just not a viable ship at all. I mean, even the people who loved the Buccaneer and absolutely loved the Buccaneer are not flying it anymore. You notice even Avenger doesn't really fly the Buccaneer that much anymore because it's just not that good. It's really not. D-tier for sure.
Have you watched someone on YouTube, William Hastings? Have you watched A1 and his crew fight this style? Are they just farming noobs? Yeah, you answered the own question. Like, yeah, you're not bringing that thing out competitively. Like, and that fight could happen any day of the week. Like, Ram could fight them. Like, they could fight any of the other PvP orgs, and it won't work. Like, it just doesn't work. It really doesn't. Like, you have to just go into a squad battle and find some dudes that are unsuspecting. And the problem is, too, is, like, you go in squad battle and you do this, and you're losing... you're getting your teammates killed because they're getting farmed because they don't have the interceptor tuning. They're not playing evasive, like, at range and waiting for opportunistic stuff to happen. And it's like, you leave a number disadvantage on the board. So it's just like, it's in a weird spot where it's just, it doesn't do this hit and run strategy well enough when there's ships like the Hornet on the field that can smoke you before you complete a pass. Like, as long as a Hornet, for example, is capable of killing a buck as fast as it can, this isn't viable. So, like...
Yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah, like it's...
I don't even think Avenger would ever bring this to a fight he actually wanted to win. I don't think there's any.
And I think if you're trying to fly this thing, you're trying to like be a cameraman for a fight. Like, you're trying to outskirt a fight. You're not trying to ever get into the thick of it. You're just trying to pick opportunistic moments to gank someone. But the problem is you have to create those opportunistic moments in a fight, and you can't create a window to kill someone where someone else hasn't created a better window to kill you in this thing. So you third party a fight, for example, this thing's great. If the fight's already going your way, it ain't going to be going your way in a 3v3 unless they're running a similar composition where they've got their own interceptors to balance it out. But yeah, like, you go up against a light fighter stack or like a Hornet stack, a Saber stack in this thing, and you're getting blasted. You're getting blasted. And
you have no opportunity to do anything, no opportunity to apply any damage, and you'll barely get away every time.
Yeah. And then you got like the missiles to worry about. Like, yeah, it's just not good. Where do we rank it? Where does it fall to?
Say C tier below the Titan.
Yep. Yeah, I'm for that. Fresh and Thumb, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I almost put it D tier, but yeah, I guess somewhere in the back of C works.
The problem is, like, William, is when people, like, I get what you're saying. Like, the first interceptor comes in, it starts the fight, it does like 40 to 50% of the health of the guy, right? And then the second one comes in tailing like 3k, 4k behind it or whatever, and, carries on that fight, and it's a constant train of people leaving. The problem is there's still two other players, aside from the guy that's getting shot at, that have complete free reign. What are they going to do? line shoulder to shoulder with the guy that they're trying to complete that pass on, and they're going to kill them in a single pass. So the problem is three ships. I could, maybe I could even draw this. Where's the paint? No, here. Okay. Like, so if no, I can't. Oh wait, I can. You just do this. So if, for example, there's 3 Hornets, right? And then this is the Bucks, right? One comes here, it does damage, it passes. The next one comes here, it does damage, it passes. The next one here, right? And they're all relying on killing this guy. The problem is these guys are going to blitz this dude in one pass every time. Like every time. You don't have the shields, you don't have the speed, and you don't have the hull to not get murdered trying to do this. Like, you'll get, this'll work. This strategy of doing this will work in a squad battle, in a PU fight, where people are oblivious and there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. There ain't other stuff going on in 3v3s. It's not happening.
The reason this also works, and this is what they're constantly, like, everyone has heard it with this stringing them up, making them flat, pulling them flat. I don't even know what he's saying all the time. Is that this guy is chasing this buck, right? So these guys have a harder time to like, if you, so they rely on this guy chasing the first buck, right? That's what they're calling like pulling flat or whatever, right? But everyone that has a little bit of knowledge or brain doesn't do this shit. Like, this Hornet will just ignore this buck flying past and just go for these two, right? Mm-hmm. And then this guy's out of this guy will just fly away, and then these guys get blown up. Like,
and the thing is, too, is like
works against
like say they cut out, right? Like, people assume that this Hornet to kill this thing needs to do this. No, you only need to chase it this much. And guess what has happened? This has happened. All this insane damage with thanks to weapon range has just like smoked it. Like, you only have to follow it along its line for a very short period, and you can rely on the insane amount of firepower you've had to finish the job. You start shooting it while it comes this way, you're holding back strafe, it gets past you, it's taking all this damage, you start chasing it, you try to merge on it, it's going to outpace you, but by that time, it's taken all this damage along this path, because this is where the range is, all the way through here, all the way through here, it is popped here, right? And this isn't a 1v1, it's popped like there, right? Add 2 more Hornets to that picture, the explosions around here.
Yeah, it dies instantly.
Like,
and then the teammates following or chasing the Hornet that's chasing the Buccaneer are getting shot by the other 2 Hornets the whole time.
Yeah.
So like they're chasing and getting blasted.
What we also had is that this Hornet was positioned more here, and then this Buck flies into the fucking Hornet and just gets obliterated anyway. Like, I actually have a clip of that where that happens too, where the Buck tries to string him out, flies away, but this Hornet was just staying here by pure luck, and he just hits the trigger once and he dies.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not viable. It's not a viable strategy. The crazy thing is, I think actually the racing ships are probably better at this. Like, at this specific type of thing, fighting Hornets, you're probably gonna be better off in a racing ship, because at least you won't be fucking dead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. At least you can change the path from a straight, right, and like curve around and avoid damage and stuff. Yeah, for sure. So, the interceptor we rank lower. We put it C next to the Avenger. Fair enough. That makes sense. The Archimedes. What do we rate this? I don't have it, like, it's definitely not beating Hornets. It's definitely not beating Gladiuses for me. It's definitely not beating Furies. That makes sense. The damage is tickling. Yeah, like, where do we put it?
I think C. I think Thumb's right.
Behind the Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, is like you
put it in front of the Buck, but
the entire interceptor strat is basically a knowledge check. Yeah, a knowledge check. Good point, Nitzrael. A knowledge check that everybody already knows. Like, everyone knows it. Like, it's an easy knowledge check. You know it's coming. You got to do damage while it passes you, and then that's it. Like, and you just like strafe up away from the path they're coming alongside, and you avoid it easily. It's a good point, a very good point. It's a knowledge check, really easy to pass. And that's it. Like, that's all these interceptors have. They have to get the perfect sequence of damage without taking damage on a target. Like, assuming that one guy's dumb enough to eat it all, you know, like, and stuff like that. And that one guy has so many cards up his sleeve. Chaff, you know, like strafing into them to cut the time in half. If you boost towards the buck that's coming at you, what are you doing? You're shortening that time frame that they need to get you low in shields and stuff like that. Like, there's so many things you can do. It won't work. The passing, like that stuff, the shuffling, the target. Yeah, not. But I'm sorry, the Archimedes. Where do we rate it? Like, yeah, it's not scary. Not seen anyone employ this thing and it be scary. Definitely wouldn't pick this thing in a scrim. We've tested it. We're not impressed. The damage it tickles. The second you get like 2 seconds of uptime, the thing's glowing red. If you're using, for example, a Hornet, right? Can't nav. What do we think? C?
Yeah,
C.
Yeah, I think C tier is fine. I think it will never kill anything like in S, A, or B. I don't think that there's any chance that in a fair 3v3 that these things ever kill shit. And you can also just nav away from them. They can't do anything. They don't even have nav mode, so it's kind of silly. They just don't do any damage. They are hard to kill. He's right about the survivability. Like, you can pretty much never die in these things if you know what you're doing, even a little bit, but it's just, it doesn't.
You
do
haven't
any
contributed anything either, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might as well be a cameraman. Like, these things, they're useless. They're not. These aren't doing any damage. These aren't killing anything. Like, you could sit there with fucking 3 of them on you in a Gladius and just sit there for, I don't know, 45 seconds to a minute before they even get you.
I will say though, if you put NDBs on it, you can't ignore a group of them on you. I will say that they actually have quite good DPS once you get NDBs.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Problem is though, right? Is like they stay on target for longer than a couple seconds, and they start getting shredded third party and stuff like that too. Like, the thing is, you can accidentally kill these things very easily.
Yes.
At the same time, it's annoying to shoot at, but then the moment you've got those shots off, it's devastating on their end. So. And meanwhile, it takes a lot of them with coordination and uptime to be able to complete a normal amount of damage. And you can upscale, like you said, to the NDBs, but yeah, fair enough. So we put it down in C. I agree with that. And we would say it's right for the expert, right? Like, expert, we'd put it at a 1. I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to be good to fly it. I mean, you can't. You have to know what you're doing. I tried to fly it, and I was like, it's actually not easy. But at the same time, it doesn't do anything, and that's the main frustration. You take that thing into squad battle, you get 1 or 2 kills with it. Like, it's a piece of shit. Unless you're fighting terrible players or something, you know, flying around in 325As.
Yeah. So what's the ideal 3v3 squad composition? It is it's like Gladiuses and Hornets. And you could maybe put in like Furies to a degree too.
Furies, firebird.
But it's Firebird to a degree as well. Yeah, Blade could work too. Yep.
Talon
but like, if
works.
we're talking like the best, it's Gladiuses and Hornets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a combination of that.
I would say so.
You could go all Gladius, you could go all Hornets, you could mix it. But it's those three. For sure.
One dude in a blade is also really good.
Yep. And you can you can fit stuff into that for sure. Okay, next up, the M50. Look, I don't care about this thing. Like, you ask me, they take the guns off this thing and we'd be done with it. But because like, it's just so dorky dealing with ships that are this size. Anyways, like, if you fly a Razor or an Archimedes in the fight, like, you're just trying to be tiny and avoid damage. It's all you're trying to do. Like, it's not that great. Thank God the balancing is good enough that these ships don't do that much damage. But if you want to be the guy that flies a racing ship in PvP, do you guys think it belongs in S? For 3v3.
It's great for killing Polarises.
Mhm.
I think that's about it. Like, again, it just doesn't do anything. These ships, yeah, okay, you don't ever die. Like, but I mean, if you never even logged into the fucking lobby, then you'd have the same result. So it's just
I put it in C as well, just for the
Yeah.
sake of it.
these ships are
See.
yeah, they're invincible pretty much because they're small, but they don't do anything.
Yeah.
They don't have the damage.
What
They just don't have the damage.
what they've got in defense, they're just lacking in offense, right? And it's better to go for like a Hornet, which is going to miss a lot of shots against this thing, but if the moment it does hit, it's like just insane. Like, and the fact that you're in a tiny ship like this means when you do get hit, which is inevitable, if it takes you this long to kill something because you've got such small guns, when you do get hit, you get hit harder than most ships do entirely. So yeah, like all of a sudden the shield's gone and you're glowing red and you're like, damn, I didn't even do anything wrong there. Like they just got a good line on me, for example. So yep, fair enough. We put it down to S. Crazy. And then last one is the Fury. Now, I think we all agree that it is an S tier ship, isn't it? Especially in 3v3s where you don't need the quantum drive. It is a tanky little menace. It's got the 4 size 2s. Oh god. Yeah, I forgot when people were putting stealth components on this thing. Maybe we should not have made this video, dude.
No, they nerfed it. No, they nerfed it.
I'm gonna cut it. There was
It's
a
not
point.
as bad anymore.
Oh yeah, because we were like really adamant about that, huh? Like this thing needs to get nerfed.
CIG made it a big cross section to compensate for it.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah, because it was like vanishing on people's screens at like 700 meters. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was like the most broken thing again. A lot of people have a lot of fun flying it. Can't blame them. Very cool ship. Super agile. Toxic hit registration when they the game is hit reg issues right now. For anyone that doesn't know, 4.0 introduced like bad aim assist and bad hit reg across the board, and the Fury leans into that, being microscopic. So its effectiveness is probably higher now this patch than it was in the last patch, correct? Yeah. Even though that was master mode, still it's probably better now. But where do we put it? We put it behind the Gladius and the Hornet, don't we?
Yeah, that's where I would put it. I think that's fair. It's still a really good ship. It's just a bit limited because it doesn't have nav mode.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my personal note for the Fury being in S tier is only in AC. I feel like once you're talking PU, it falls.
Yeah.
Not because it's not strong, but because you have to fucking carry it.
Yeah, you have to backpack this thing around, the logistics, you have to plan for it. You can't relocate, like, say you want to go rearm repair or something in the PU, you're not doing that. You have to go land and find another one. You have to go in a deep space, hop out, suicide, come back in a new one. Like the logistics of running these things is such a hassle. And it's definitely a strong pick for sure. Is it a stronger pick than the Hornet or Gladius? No, because the Gladius has just got a good damage to maneuverability ratio that it can brawl with it and then outlast it. And the Hornet is just got so much damage to tank ratio, but specifically damage, that once it gets that 2 seconds of uptime, once the Furies run out of steam, then it dies, right? Or however many seconds it requires. So, yeah, fair enough. I'd put it third. So, actually kind of based for it to be there. I tell you what, though, I'd put it to expert. I wouldn't put it on trained.
For sure. You have to be an expert to fly a Fury well.
You got to be, you have to know you have to be very good at positional combat, aim, and all that jazz. Survival, awareness, big time. So, we'd put that to 1, right? For sure.
Yeah, and if you're not an expert flying it, it might look like other people's pips are wiggling.
yeah, because it hurts.
Especially if you use lag pip and NDBs. Yeah, good tip. Don't use lag pip.
And if it's Remembrance Day.
Here's the thing. Lag pip, is F-. Never use lag pip. Lag pip is terrible.
Yeah, you're not doing yourself
all of these ships. All of
Sorry.
these ships are F- tier if you're using lag pip.
Okay,
Every
so
ship.
let's tick the ones we like. Okay, that we think actually belonged on that tier. We're good with this one.
Take a different
yeah?
color. Take a different color.
Okay,
Like,
let's do
colors.
let's do blue. Yeah. So, oh god, no. Blue. Here. Okay, so we like this one.
Yep.
The Gladius, no. The blade being, we like the blade being an A, right?
Yeah, like
yes.
that. Yep.
The firebird being an A, we like that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
The saber being in B, we like that.
It's okay. Yeah,
The hornet being
Hornets.
in B, we like that.
it's okay.
Scorpius, no, we don't. The Banner, no. The Cartu-al, we like that in B.
Yeah,
We like the Talon too, don't we? The arrow moves up 2 slots.
It's gotta be B. I don't think the
Yeah,
arrow is
yeah,
a C tier
yeah,
ship.
yeah.
I don't like that.
The F8 in C. What do
I
we
agree.
We agree?
I
Okay.
agree.
The Mantis, we left it there. I actually agree with the Mantis
we
being there
moved it
if
up.
it's 3v3. Yeah, but
Yeah,
the 3v3 thing of
Specifically
it, right?
3v3.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's 3v3, we don't care about the interdiction nearly as much.
Yeah.
So we'll
Put
leave
it
that
there.
there. The Hurricane being there, I think we were fine with, weren't we? Is that right?
If the things
Yeah,
are still
it's a
bugged,
3v3, right? So it's one ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
should go there, right? Yeah, because it's 3v3. This thing, no, we didn't like the.
I think that's fine. I think all this stuff was
Cutlass.
okay.
Yeah, the Guardian had the move. All of
Yeah,
these.
the Guardian.
Well, we liked. Dude, the A1 in a 3v3 is mind blowing to me. We don't like that either. The Pisces being there, we didn't like the Guardian. Don't like the Eclipse being there in a 3v3. What are you 3v3ing in an Eclipse?
I would put check marks on most of these. Yeah, like all this stuff down here, like the Zeus, the Sulin, all that stuff.
So like that. So what do we think? So we like the ticks that I've given so far. That seems like all the ones that we think belonged to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one, and that's according to the rules of this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'd add it then. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 43. And then so we're adding those two. So that's what? That's 11, isn't it? So that's 11.
Give him the Cuddy Blue.
Out of what was it, 33?
Cuddy Blue, Gladiator. We gave him that. We gave him the Delta as well, or the Mustang as well. And I think the Tana.
And we're saying 11 out of 23. I
think all this stuff. I think we gave him all this.
Oh, there we go. That's how we do it.
So we've done.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's take. Yeah. It's got to be F.
12 out of 33. Okay, so 12 out of 33. We think it's accurate if. Okay, so if lenient. Yeah, like. We don't agree with exactly where these are, but we think they're roughly in the right spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We should do the X's now, the ones that are just horrific.
Okay. The red pen. Go.
The terrible. No. I'm gonna. Nah, this is terrible. I think this should be. Are we doing red X's for stuff that's close or
no?
Yeah,
atrocious.
Only if it's atrocious. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
all right. No,
this, again, this terrible. This terrible. That's S tier. This is ridiculous. Scorpius is fine. This stuff is okay. What is this? I don't know.
Just hide it.
Actually, C tier. This thing's the 85X is actually not atrocious. Like I'd actually say that's fine. This, like, the Intrepid is 0 out of 10. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why that's there. Hawk. That's fine.
This thing's
Glaive.
broken. That's got to X. It's broken. It's broken. It doesn't work. I'm doing it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. This, I mean, yeah, I don't know why that's there.
The Aurora.
Yeah, that's F tier. Way down in F tier. That thing is unplayable.
This one was way off.
Guardian
Yep.
should be way up. Yep.
Yep. This thing,
This stuff is fine.
it's whatever. These are
Pisces.
like whatevers. The further it gets down the
You gotta
list, it
cross
just
the
becomes
Pisces.
whatevers, right? Yeah. Victim ship
think
tier
the-
list.
Say the Pisces.
Pisces in
being-
a 3x3? Who would do that?
Yeah, yo, it's true.
I mean,
Yo, come on. Yeah, come on now.
that is F tier. Yeah.
One. Okay, so that's one. Okay, so now we put
And the cutter.
atrocious.
And the cutter. Sorry, just one more.
Oh my
The
god!
cutter.
Yeah, what? Yo, you sleeping on this, Nix? Okay, atrocious. So this is.
I fell asleep when I started looking at all these ships. They're all trash. All this shit is trash.
Okay, atrocious. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 33, which is atrociously put on this list, like in completely non-accurate locations. Okay,
Yeah.
now okay, so we move on to the next part. Okay, you ready? Now I am going to do this. All right, we got thumb. Okay. We've got Saint. We got Fresh. I just realized how late it probably is for you, Fresh. I apologize.
Yes.
Virgil. All right, guys. Out of 10, what do you guys rate this for accuracy? Honestly,
dude,
God,
this
like,
is
just
very
purely
easy for
based
me.
off the list. Thumb. What? No. We'll start. No, okay, we got to start with Thumb because I know Thumb's gonna play something safe. So, Thumb, you tell us where you at with this.
I'm not playing safe. 2 out
Okay,
of 10.
2.
2.
2. Okay, Thumb is at a 2. Wait, no, I'm gonna do this the other way. 2 out of 10. Okay, Saint.
I think it's a so the
Do we have to
only
do a
one
poll?
on here, the only one on here that actually would even make sense is the Fury. Like ultimately, if you actually looked at this as what's competitive, because yeah, we agreed with a lot of stuff. But if we're talking about for like pure competitive, if you actually gave someone this list and said, here's how to play the game, they're just gonna lose every single fight. Like this is trash. I go 0 out of 10. I think this is terrible. I mean, the fact that there are 2 racing ships in S tier, there's a Hornet, which is literally the best ship in B tier. There's an Intrepid in fucking C tier, which like, I mean, how are we putting an Intrepid in C tier? I don't know, man. I give this a 0 out of 10. Like this, dude, this is a meme.
Yo, I can only do this in chat. I can only. Okay, so you got what? What were you giving it? A 0?
I'm going fucking 0, dude. This is
0.
like, we got a 325A equal to an F7A, bro. Like you ask literally anyone who plays this game, they'll tell you that's wrong.
Guys, the
So-
poll's up. Yo, the poll is up in chat. Everyone, the poll is up. Okay, the poll is up. Okay, fill it out. The poll. All right, Fresh. Out of 10, what do you give it?
That's it's either 1 or 2. So I'll probably go with
Jeez,
1
guys.
because yeah.
1 out of 10.
Look at the ships. Like almost none are where they should be.
Now
you
rate
use
Virgil's
your-
tier list. Yo, we could do it. We can absolutely do it.
If you
And
used
then the
a
next.
random generator, if you used an RNG, you probably would get something better than this.
Those 0 can't vote. Okay, and then me. Like, me. Like, I don't think it's extremely bad at the top. The Raven's just wild. I don't think it's like the worst thing I've ever seen at the top. In the middle, it gets pretty bad. And then at the end, it's pretty bad. I give it like a 4. and that's me being very lenient, like very lenient. Like there's some ships, like that we know like they don't like, you know, the Gladius and stuff there, but they have put them on the list. Yeah, like the accuracy, if we're lenient, 12 out of 33, 15 out of 33. But like this is so misleading, and like I really think it's like pushing agenda too. Like it's crazy how 53% voted 1%, one guy put a 5, 5 people put a 3, 8 people put a 2, and nobody put a 4. You give Virgil's rating a 4 out of 10 and a rating of almost half good if lenient, 3 out of 8 out of 10. Blue Boy gives it a 10. Fair enough. Now, what would you guys give my list? In all honesty,
Can you pull it up again?
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, I can.
Paste it in here.
How would I do this? We got to be careful. Like I don't. How do we do this? Picture list, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, here we go. Boom. No, that's the thumbnail. Hold on. Wait. Where is my tier list? Shh. Maybe I put it in this folder. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. So this is mine.
And it's actually about Pyro, not like roll.
Yeah. This is Pyro, big picture. How good is these ships? For your org to PvP in. Look at it like that. How good are these ships for your org to PvP in competitively? Honest answers only too. Like you can criticize it. I don't want to spend like a ton of time on this. I give you a list of 10 out of 10 because it's not an obvious noob farming troll.
All of these are agreed. Like if you're actually in a real fight, all of these 100% agreed. These are all S tier ships. I would not want to go into any fight without these 4 ships. I think they're all amazing. Antares, I'd probably lower. Probably take that down.
Yeah. I could agree with that.
The only change I would do is I would take this and put it here. That's the only
Saber
change
goes
I would
up.
make.
Yeah, Saber goes up. I agree. Hornet stays the same. Hercules, I think that's fine because of the bombs. Arrow's good. Sandtalk. Yeah, I think the Sandtalk is fine. It could go C tier, but I think it's fine at bottom of B.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane, fine. Buccaneer. I would rank the Buccaneer probably a little lower than this, but still in C tier. Andromeda, I would move to A tier, I think, because the missiles, it's very oppressive.
The missiles. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about the missiles. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and this 4 size 4s on the nose.
Guardian, I would move at least to C tier because it has the quantum interdiction or quantum dampener.
Yep.
And it's pretty decent in the PU. Corsair, doesn't it still require 2 people? I think this thing is really bad, right? I think it requires 2 people. It's bad.
Yeah.
All this stuff, I pretty much would agree with this stuff here. I think maybe Scorpius up. And Hurricane. Cutlass blue.
Yeah, I only put it there for interdiction. That's it. It's just a bubble that goes down.
Yeah, this
and
stuff,
then the Inferno was purely based off the ballistics to I've got told, and it's like literally rumor is that the ballistics are good for killing Polaris sub-targeting.
All this stuff seems fine.
This is in no particular order. This is just random.
Titan would go up, I think.
Yeah.
I think Titan would go to maybe E tier or maybe
I think
D.
for PU.
E tier. Yeah.
Honestly, I think I would rate the Glaive a little higher.
I think the Glaive is really bad. Yeah.
It doesn't
work. Yeah. Also, you know what I would move up is the Shrike. I would move it to D tier. Because it's worse than the Firebird, so no one uses it, but it still has a shit ton of missiles and it's stealthy.
You know what I would? You know what's funny? If the Firebird wouldn't exist, I think the Shrike would be up really high.
Ratcatcher. The reason we put the Ghost there is the nose turret doesn't work. So it's actually got less damage than the normal Ghost. The normal Hornets have more damage than it. So.
I will say though, like this list here, these top S and A tier, replace the Scorpius with the Saber, has literally been our loadouts in the PU.
Yeah.
Like this is what we fly.
Yeah, like everything there. Yeah. You put this, you throw this Saber in there. That's what our org runs, like top to bottom. Yeah, for sure.
And the reason I think for the Fury being A tier instead of S tier is it doesn't have a quantum drive. So in an actual fight in the PU, there's a lot of logistics around it.
Yeah,
so you
it's
can't
such
just
a
bring
nuisance
100%
to bring it.
Yep.
Where's the Redeemer? I completely forgot it. It wasn't in this guy's list, so I just forgot it. It's just oversight, but everybody thinks it wouldn't place well anyway, though. But
the Redeemer is bugged right now. The Redeemer has size 2 shields and 4 shield faces with it. And size 2 shields are balanced so that they're supposed to have a bubble shield, so they're only supposed to have 1 shield face. So the Redeemer has a quarter of the shield facing that it should, and therefore it's just not viable. It's just bad simply because of that, which is essentially a bug or an oversight.
Mm-hmm. So okay, being very critical, what would you give this list? Hold on, let me. So we go being very critical and very honest. Fresh. Nix. Whatever. I'm just gonna do Nix, and then I won't even do it. Okay, go.
Give you 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I was going to do the same. 8 out of 10. I agree with all of the pop picks. There are just a lot of things in the middle that I would really rate a lot higher, like the Andromeda, stuff like that. It's really useful.
Fresh, what do you think?
Well, you put the M50 on there and the Archimedes and the Saber too low, so it's a 7 out of 10. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can do it at 7. It's fine. 7.
I think I would do 7 actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Change it a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's like the thing is too is like in my mind when I was looking at this, I was like, yeah, well, if you ever need to bomb something, you're gonna bomb them. So that's what and it's gonna work. Like the bomb's very reliable, so that's why I like rank them high. As far as the Corsair and Andromeda, I rank those high because they can like do cargo, like looting and stuff. Like they're just good to PvP with in general because they can do the other stuff that you might need to pair with PvP, like looting components, stuff like that. Just random, like PU shenanigans, for sure.
I honestly think it's like it is a very good list. Like I was flying the A1 for the first like week of it. I bombed a Polaris and killed it with the A1 bomb. It was great, but like I definitely think like the difference that I'm seeing between these two lists when I look out, one is actual gameplay for people who want to bang and be in the PU, and then the other one is for people who are scared of dying.
Yeah.
That's literally the thing. One is if you have gear fear, right here. This is your guy. If you have gear fear, if you want to have fun and play the game and maybe even have a few decisive victories.
Yeah.
This is your
if you want to live or die by the sword, you do this list and you go for it.
Even without our changes that we made. The S tier, spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is
that's really all that matters.
And here's the like closing note of this, right? Is that master modes slowed the speeds down so that the fights happen. Like, so that if you're running up against a group, you're no longer doing the prior flight models role of just outskirting fights, running the moment your shields are down 20%. You're not avoiding fighting. You're not putting fights into a stalemate the moment they start going your way. You're not telling you guys, all right, nobody stop dying because we've lost a few people, wait for them to come back. You're not kiting at max speed. In master modes, the design is you have to fight it out when you're in a fight. Yeah. The problem is in master modes, all of the PvP orgs understood this and picked ships accordingly to brawl their way out of a fight, to fight through their opponents, to like live or die by the sword and get it done. And this these ships all hold ground better than this theory of flying, which is just run away. Like, this is old flight tactics in the last flight model that do not work against competitive or reasonable groups anymore. So this is fluff. This is massive fluff. Like, you go this route and you're hoping that the game becomes something else, and it's not. It's not that anymore. It's now PvP is using your guns. It's trying to outmaneuver people. It's trying to fight. It's not that great right now, right? Like, there's some issues. It's hard to push. There's wiggling. There's issues with this, but now you have to fight your way through it. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, this other list, like, it's just like I wonder if this, I don't know how to say it without being like super mean, but like, this is it feels like it's riddled with agenda. Like, how can you put the Saber Raven here? Like, why are there racing ships that do barely any damage here? Why is there a Misk Razor? Like this is something, like, there's some messaging to this, and I'm pretty sure it's just, let's increase the speeds of the flight model because these ships are so great, and they're not great. So
yeah, these things are just, I mean, some of the stuff in this list just simply doesn't make sense. Like the Intrepid, it just kind of looks like, I don't know if he didn't look that closely at it, or I don't really understand how that could even be there.
I think
it's
he's trying
so
to get
bad.
back in the good graces of Sig.
Let's do questions
By
before
marketing.
we wrap it up. Question: would you prefer
wrap
the
it up
old
already?
flight? Yeah, you could go, brother. I appreciate you.
All right.
Would you?
GGs.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Would you prefer Master Mode over the old flight model if you could choose right now which to use for 4.1? What we have now, by miles.
Yeah,
Like, you guys need to
Fights are
understand that,
actually
like,
decisive.
fights couldn't happen. Like, fights didn't happen in the last flight model. People just ran away. Like, you took 20% damage to your shields, you left the fight. Like, we would get into fights with 30 players and 2 people would die in 3 hours. Like,
yeah,
the mathematics didn't add up in the last flight model. I think 1v1s and face-to-face dueling was a lot better, and I'm pretty sure this is the entire opinion of Master Modes. Like, Shadow Moses. The 1v1s were a lot more fun in the last flight model, for sure. The 1v1s right now stink. They do. They stink. And CRG admits that they stink. But the team fights are 100 times better now. 100 times. No one would ever die. Yeah.
Old flight model was great for sitting in BR with some fucking music on and dueling the best players in the game. It was incredibly fun. Like, that was great. 10 out of 10 experience. It was some of the most fun I had in the game. For everything else, it was shit. It was terrible. Like, you couldn't fight each other. You couldn't fight other groups. You couldn't team fight. Like, it was a joke. Like, it was too fast. The speed was just way too high, and it simply didn't work.
Second question on YouTube is, what size group do you typically play with in the PU? What size do you want in the future? Well, we're probably, like, if it's slow, there's like 7 to 8. If we ping, 20. If we ping with capital letters, 30. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but, like, yeah. No, we're like, yeah, at any time we're probably 8 deep, and that could be across like multiple different loops, but we go to fight someone, it's usually around the 8 number, unless we need more, and then it probably doubles at minimum. Where do we want to be? I think by the end of next year, I would hope. Are we allowed to talk about this next? I would say
it's your show. I don't know.
I'd be happy if if the roster extended from like 90 to 150 by the end of 2025. 1.0 the target, 200. Averaging around like 40 online at any given moment. I think that's the sweet spot. That's probably incorporating the fact that I expect server meshing 500 player limits to double by 1.0 and stuff like that. Maybe they can make an adrenaline mode for AEC for the elite tier and tawny people. No, they've got a lot of stuff they're cooking up with MM. A lot of good stuff. Like they know what the issues are. They got good ideas. The new changes for MM are going to be awesome. They're going to be awesome. Like they've really took a lot of the feedback when it came to the specifics of what was wrong. Like I don't think they are acting on feedback that people are giving that doesn't fit into the framework of what they're trying to complete, and I think they're doing really good. Still no OCIC, LOL desperate. Bro. Yep, that's you party squid, that's it. What are we doing, bro? We're just criticizing our list. Like, I'm sorry that you guys aren't competitive. It's not my problem. Any other questions? No, it feels like it targeting a bigger drama for your attention, too focused on being negative. True. Anyone else? How to beat Furies? Yeah, it's an infinite content glitch. How to beat Furies in AC? Go damage. Yeah, nav if it gets scary.
I mean, to be honest, it wasn't even that negative. We even rated your list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's whatever, dude. It's clown stuff.
Which is
Doesn't
funny.
matter. Guardian was S tier. No one. I don't think either list put the Guardian in S tier.
No.
Any other questions? Any questions? How do you think this list will change come control surfaces in atmosphere? Yo, good question. Massively. That'd be very interesting because it's like you'd have to look at like the aerodynamics of some ships and stuff like that. No idea. I think the Gladius is going to stay up there for sure. Probably the Saber will still stay high.
Maybe the Arrow
Everything
will
else.
make it back to S tier.
Yeah. Like you just have to start looking at the aesthetics of everything and then try to figure it out. Are you guys using NDBs in the PU or stick to the 1800 medic weapons? 1800. Yep. It's just better to go the reliable route. How charming is Nyx on a scale of 1 to 10? Yo, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know. Maybe like a 6?
I mean, compared
I'll
to
take a 6.
Sin, who has the ultimate charisma, it's quite low.
When do I expect 4.1 to hit?
Charismatic
2026. 2026. A1 will comment on this video. Doubt it. I don't even know if I'll put it on YouTube. If I do, it'll probably be the second half. We'll see. It's a bit weird that he followed my video with his video like 8 hours later, but that's okay. Maybe.
I mean, and it did seem kind of rushed. Just saying.
Yeah, this list was rushed, bro. Any other questions in chat? Anyone? So you guys only use the CF series repeaters, even if you know you'll be up against bigger ships? Yeah. Just because we like lean, like it's not worth the logistics of changing weapons. Unless it's like we're talking a Polaris, like it's a mountain to climb. But yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's just better to have it all reliable. Like you can, you're missing out on some damage on the board by not going to NDBs, but you can just gap it with skill and not be an issue. It's just not worth swapping out ships, like weapons, so frequently. Why the CF over NDBs? The most important, like the best stat right now in PvP is just reliability. You want like a weapon that can do everything. And for that, you want to stack speed and then second priority being damage. So the repeaters are just, CF repeaters are just the best, Panthers and stuff. If you go NDBs, someone flies up to you in a snub fighter or a Gladius, you're going to hate the fact that you brought NDBs to the table. Like, it's going to look like they're wiggling. The pip's going to be super erratic. You're going to have to get really close to them to get your damage off, and you're going to get banged up good. Love ballistics, but they're too slow. Yep. New player got 5 mil. Want to start bounties suggestions. Pretty lame combat skills right now. suggestions on what to buy? Probably get the Saber, right, guys?
Yeah, I would say Saber would be a good place to start for bounties.
Saber's a really fun ship in the PU, especially if you build it with a stealth,
Yeah,
with
good
stealth
point.
component. It's really sick.
Yeah, hop in a Saber.
Try to pick
I need
your
a
fights in Atmo.
I need to get a Saber. Just like that, watching that video of Fresh today, I want to get a Saber for sure. Any other questions? Do you guys do trainings with outsiders? Any PvP clans you recommend to join before getting experience to apply Shadow Moses? It's funny. I'm gonna prove. God, I already forgot his name. Dude, I got actually. Who was the guy that just came in trash talking? The
fucking Party Squid.
Yeah, Party Squid. Party Squid's org AVS. You join their Discord. They do public training, public teaching. The Discord itself functions really well. They're
and then you can.
They got a lot of cool guys in
so.
AVS. A lot of cool guys in AVS, and they train publicly. We don't. So I would say that Discord actually.
They do hate us.
Surprise people. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think they're dudes. Like we don't actually have anything against their guys for the most part. Like that isn't really how it is. It's pretty much just with the top man doesn't like us.
It's two-way street. Yo, Ark with the fat raid. Yo, brother, hope you're good. Hope you're good. Someone blasts in AVS EU. No.
Honestly, the best way to train though is just to go in Arena Commander and just play, and we can watch videos and stuff. I mean, but
there's no better way than through. No better way than through.
Just playing public lobbies. I think most of the people who are the best in the game got good by just playing public lobbies and just playing the game and improving and finding what works for them. I don't think you actually need the intense training programs that it seems like. I think you just go in, get the meta stuff, get the meta loadouts, and just just have fun with it. Yeah, have fun with it. And if you enjoy it, then you'll get good.
No one gets good without dying 1,000 times too. Like I always say that, like you gotta sacrifice 10,000 deaths to the EC gods before it all clicks and you get to the top. But no one got to being good without dying 1,000,000 times. So just keep 100%. That in mind. Yep.
And just try stuff, right? Like if you keep dying and doing the same thing, change it up a little bit. Just like Nick said, have fun with it. Put in the time and you'll get good.
Yeah, if you Ratcatcher on YouTube is going so hard. Are you guys watching the YouTube chat? Like it's crazy. No, I'm not. It's way spicier than the Twitch one.
That's funny. The Twitch is so nice, dude. I'm reading the Twitch chat and everyone's just being real nice to us.
Either way, that was super good. I think we can wrap it up there. We can find someone to raid, but I think we were pretty classy with this. Like we could have been way worse. Sure.
I mean,
that was it, and we didn't react to the video. I'm not going to react to the video itself out of respect, but I'm sure as shit going to react to someone putting a list out 8 hours after I do. So I've got no regrets there. That's it. What else have we got? I don't know anyone's streaming. Yo, Einhard, dude, I bet he's saying that's. He's I was like, oh god. Who do we raid? Yo, let's raid Verity. She's dope. Or do we? No, Verity. Yeah, Verity. Okay, she's dope. Verity is cool as fuck. Guys, I appreciate you. Okay, everybody on all teams. PvP is awesome. The game's in a really good spot. Let's all fight more together. Let's get all the PvP orgs actually fighting each other so that these lists are very transparent and everybody knows, rather than avoiding fighting each other and having to guess. Guys, GG's. I'll see you guys in the stream. I appreciate it. I got like 1 million follows today, by the way. Like actually 40. That's insane. GG's.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
for the Raider arc. Thanks for the subs, guys, and all that jazz. I appreciate you all. GG's. And thanks for the guys for coming on to Fresh, Thumb, and Saint Nix. They got YouTubes and stuff. Make sure you guys look at their stuff. GG's. GG's. Don't fly snubs.
Yeah, don't fly. Friends don't let friends fly snubs and
Yeah,
racing
friends
ships.
don't let friends fly subs or racing ships, boys.